Hello, hello, everyone. That's right. It is art night. Welcome to the Headmaster's Homeroom. I am Lady Hamilton, and tonight is art night. We are so excited to take a break away from all of that stuff that's going on out in the world. We can do that on Monday, but for today and the weekends, we love to take a break and a stress-free walk through the wonderful world of art. I'm so excited, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's say hello to all of our wonderful viewers tonight. Before we do that, let's give you some homework here, guys. Right there we go. Make sure you are hitting those likes, those follows, and share this out because my guest is phenomenal and we want the whole world to see his wonderful talent. So that is awesome. But please don't forget to hit those likes and follows. I appreciate that. And also, you guys can support the show with your likes, follows, and shares. Yes, your subscriptions, your cash apps, your rants, your tips, your pills, and more. I greatly appreciate the support, you guys, so we can do this show 5 nights a week. All right, let's say hello to our wonderful viewers. Hello, everyone over there on Rumble. So nice to see everybody. And yeah, I see you are in. Nice to see you, JJ, Frosty, Cass, Nasty, and more. Hello to all of our Pill viewers. So great to see you guys over there. Hi, X viewers. How are you guys doing tonight? And YouTube viewers, we are so glad to see you guys. Welcome to the show. All right, you guys all know that I have an artist group called the Artist Corner. Yes, it's Artist Corner International. And I love this group so much. You know, I'm always sharing this here. It's where you can find us so far. You guys can find us over on Truth or on X. And we would love to have you be a part of our community, whether you are an artist or an art lover, because this is how I get to start my day when I hit social media, by your beautiful talents. And I highlight an artist every single day. And why it's important for you guys to join, whether you're an artist or art lover, because whether those, what you do on those artists of the day is you hit those likes, shares, and comments, those get tallied up. And guess what? That helps us decide who the artist of the week is, which we highlight here on Saturday nights. And so tonight, she was just on the show. I'm so excited, everybody. Let's give a huge shout out to our artist of the week. That's right, Aileen. Right? Aileen Gein from Aileen's Jewelry. You guys can follow her on Truth at Aileen Ann. You guys can follow her on X at Aileen's Jewelry. But I am so excited. You guys voted, you shouted, and I'll tell you what, she is our artist of the week, making amazing jewelry. If you guys want to check out that show, you can, because she was just here last week. So excited to have her and look her amazing talents. So you guys, please give her a huge follow and a congratulations, because yes, Aileen, you are our artist of the week. So excited to celebrate you, and I am so glad that you are part of our wonderful Artist Corner family. All right, everybody. So tonight, my guest is one of our great friends from our Artist Corner family, right? One of our very first, and he has been lighting up our days, taking us from all kinds of journeys, whether that's local or as wineries, or it's taking us to places like Italy and Greece. He is always just lighting us up with his amazing artwork. We are welcoming back Bob Goetting. I love him. We know him over there as Captain Robert. He is a California-based artist who is an amazing oil painter, have captivated audiences for more than 40 years, everyone. Bob's work beautifully captures the rugged coastlines and the vineyards of California, along with the timeless charm and atmosphere of places like France, Italy, and Greece, creating landscapes that viewers just don't see, but we truly feel. We are so excited because when we look at his art, he is always taking us somewhere on this amazing journey with him. His paintings have been featured in galleries throughout California and are held in private collections around the world. Today, Bob is proudly represented by the Beach Art Group in Florida as well, where his work continues to inspire collectors and art lovers alike. I know that he inspires us so much in the corner, everyone. We love his work. Bob shares his artistic journey with us every single day and sometimes nights as well. His creative process is amazing, and the inspiration behind his rich textures and luminous scenes that define his work. So everyone, do me a favor and please welcome my great friend, Bob Goetting, to our stage. Hello, hello.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. How are you this evening?
I am doing fantastic. I am so excited to see you here. We always have a great time when Bob is in the house. It is so awesome to have you here, my friend.
It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And we thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you so much.
We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you.
That's right. Well, I totally get a huge joy out of this. Like I say in the beginning, when before I even go on social media, and yes, I'm totally aware of what's going on in the world, but I don't want to start my day with that. I want to start my day with beauty. So by going to the corner and seeing your work and our other talented members' work, right? It just gets you a whole different atmosphere, first thing in the mornings, right? Or the day or the evening, guys, you can check it out. But it's just to remind everybody about so much talent and so much beauty in the world that I get a pure joy about this. So it's my pleasure and I love it. But you know what, Bob? We have so many new viewers here that have probably never seen you or know about you.
Poor people.
Oh,
where have they been?
Well, and then they find us and they're like, where have you been all our lives? I'm like, well, we've been here for 3 years, but we're so happy to have them.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We're glad they found us.
Right. I am too. And it's one of the reasons I invite you guys back because, a lot of people don't go back and watch those older shows, and so it's so important to come back and share your amazing story with us. So I'm going to let you tell us.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's interesting you mentioned that. I finally got a chance to watch the Valentine one.
Did you?
That was a fun one. There was a lot of talent in that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of talent. Well, I've been painting for longer than I want to admit. And I started painting when I was 11 years old. And the oil paint bug got me and it stuck with me the whole time. There's a lot of people that are, I'm kind of a one-trick pony. I do oil and acrylic. That's kind of what I like the best. I've done, I've had some art classes and college level people and different professors had me do, drawing and things like that. And
right.
I owe some of the inspiration to people like Professor Howell. I had him for quite a while in college. And he was one of those fellows that was very talented in his own right, but he knew how to approach everyone and how to get the best out of them. And he had a particular way of going about it. He wouldn't really poke at you, but he would make sure you were going to do what he wanted you to do. But he wasn't afraid to go out of his way to compliment you on things. I was a 20-year-old kid or a 19-year-old kid. I show up at one of his classes. I walk into a forum. There's probably like 100 people in this forum, and I'd only known him about 4 months. And it's the first day of the class. It's art history. And he's reading off the names and he reads off my names. He says, Bob Goetting. He goes, Bob Goetting, what are you doing here? You can teach this class. That was a complete lie. I was there to learn. I didn't know anything compared to what he did, but that was the kind of professor he was. And everybody kind of looked at me like, well, who's this knucklehead? Anyway, that was the kind of person that he was. He was a very inspiring fellow. And so, you're lucky to come across people like this. And sometimes, and then previously, I had another lady in high school art. She was so obnoxious, I quit painting for like 3 weeks or 3 years. She was completely the opposite of he was. So, you don't let those people knock you off your track. Go toward the light, stay focused. And be around the people that are a positive influence. If you go off the track and you get in the weeds or something, get back on there. Just don't let distractions get in your way.
You are so right about that because I went to college and I, went through my bachelor's, 2 masters and so forth. Right. And I had a few, most of them, most of them actually were pretty good, especially the visiting professors. That was a huge treat to have them come from around the world and really inspire me. But one of them, this painting right behind here, which is truly to this day, my most popular piece, has been in 17 different shows, everyone. But during that last day presentation, and we're all showing our artwork, he cussed me out and told me how terrible it was. If I would have took his words to heart, luckily I turned him in for cussing me out because I'm like, he used with some really foul words. And I went to the dean. I was like, I'm sorry. He can give me a critique, but you're not going to sit here and cuss me out. It was just like 5 minutes of pure on cussing. And I'm like, if I would have listened to that, I don't know if I would have ever even gone further. That's why I'm so glad you're saying this, because you have to literally go, who are you? Did I meet the assignment correctly? Did I meet all these points? But who are you to criticize what I draw or what I paint? You didn't
Exactly.
give me a theme. You told us to go with what we wanted to do. So, this is what I like to do. And it turned out to be my most popular piece to date, guys. So this is why I'm so excited you said that. You guys, you got to do you. And I love that when as soon as you said that, I always have this one ready to go, be the light, and you do
Exactly.
it.
That's right. And make a way to get to those people that are like that, and stay away from the other ones. If you're always going to run into rejection and all that kind of stuff, just it's a speed bump. Nobody ever got stuck on a speed bump and couldn't get over it. You get over it. You go past it. So and that's what you try to do. This same professor. This is kind of the flip side of it. He was the judge at an art show that I used to enter some artwork in, and I was kind of like the outsider. It was like a local annual art show, and the rest of us kind of put stuff up there, and we weren't part of the in crowd. We were kind of like the outsiders. Well, once in a while, the outsiders would win the ribbons, and they didn't like that. So they stuck my professor in there, and my professor intentionally sandbagged me and went around and picked other stuff that wasn't it shouldn't have been, but it was. And I laughed about it because I knew him and I knew what he was doing. And so, you just can't, you let that stuff get in the way.
That's right.
Sometimes you just, if that path doesn't work, find another one. Don't let them ruin your parade,
And we all need to listen to Bob's wisdom here, because let me tell you why. Bob has been doing this for a living for over 40 years. So you artists that are wanting to make a name for yourself, or you're wanting to be seen, I always look to Bob as one of my total go-tos, believe it or not, because if he can do it for a living, what is he doing right? I mean, I know that you're out in your community. I know that you're all over different social medias, that you put your art where it belongs, per se. Like if you're going to do something on a vineyard, you go to the wineries. If you're going to do something on the coast, you go to maybe coastal places. You find where your art fits and you make yourself known. And it really works for you. I mean, I don't know if you have other tips, but we're going to be writing them down tonight, my friend.
Well, right now is, I think diversity is really important because, I see some people that just, they might focus on one or two little pockets. And it is really, I think it's quite the challenge to keep a profile of any significance on social media. I mean, there's a lot of art activity. I see a ton of it over there on Instagram, and some of it just absolutely stupefies me. I see something posted, it'll be like an ad, and they'll bomb you. They bomb you with ads like constantly. It's like 10 in a row. They say, "Are you interested in this ad?" You poke, "No." "Oh, good. We won't send you anymore." And like 2 seconds later, guess what? You get another one. Well, you see some of this stuff pop up, and you think, "Oh my gosh, what's this one about?" And you poke on it, and they've got like 50,000 viewers or followers or something or whatever it is, and you just, I guess my point is, there's a lot of artists, but there's a lot of people looking. There's
Right.
what, 7 billion people on this earth now, and how many people have social media accounts? I think half of them do. That's a lot. That's a big audience. So you got to find a way to find the right pair of eyeballs. I've shown artwork at, I don't know, it could be a gallery, it could be an art show, wherever it is. I had one lady, she was an artist, or she's an artist, a very good artist, and she had a gallery up in Fresno. And she had my stuff up there for like 6 months. We rotated it out a couple times. And I brought some of it home, and like 3 days later sold one of them myself.
Wow.
All that means is you have to find the right pair. Somebody likes your work. You just got to find it. You got to find them, and you got to get it in front of them. And that's really what it boils down to. And some people don't need to be worried about selling things, but it is an affirmation. So and it's uplifting. It's exciting to see people enjoy your work, and
Yes.
so especially when you put your heart and soul in it.
Right. I agree. You spend so much time, and then knowing the timing, you were talking about that, because I have certain pieces that I know that are not going to be in a home. They're statement pieces, but then we see what's going on right now in the communities and right with our children. And next thing you know, I reached out, and guess what? they want these up in the local gallery here in the next few weeks. I was like, wow, I'm going to meet with them on Wednesday, because I knew that this would be a time that people would want to see these things, because so that's what I mean about know your field, know what's going on. I mean, know the place that you want to go to. If you're doing something, I always say this, like you said, if you're doing something on grapes and wineries, go find your wineries. If you're doing something with food and landscapes, go find your restaurants. If you're doing something abstract, offices love that, and just how
That's
are you
true.
going to find those places? And then, yeah.
That's very true. What you just said. I have a friend that's a professional full-time artist, and she's selling like 6 times what I am. Her work is she is a interior decorator, and so her work is more oriented toward that. Mine's more subject driven. Hers is more that she'll do like florals or almost like two-dimensional art, but it's very ornate and it's very decorative, very colorful. And the lady has connections like you wouldn't believe. She's one of those people that ends up like Christmas time. She's got like 10 or 12 people that hire her to go decorate their entire 3,500-foot house. So I mean that's the kind of deal it is. And so she found her niche. She knows what she's good at. She knows her clientele. And that's if you're interested in doing that kind of thing, that's what you got to do, is find your own clientele. And if someone else is having great success and you're having a dry spell, you got to stay in there and you'll find them. Well, actually, sometimes they'll just find you, but you have to make sure you give them the opportunity to see you.
That's right. That's right. And I love it too, because, something I learned from somebody else, she's been on here, but I know that you do this. But Cindy was like, when I see people post something, and this is all social media, in the comments, if my art relates to what they're talking about, I will post that piece I have that relates to that, and then hashtag your name. And I'm like, I have seen so much explosion on my artwork just in the last month or so, because I've been doing what she said, is replying to comments, with a little something, and then put my art in there. I see you do the same thing. And you get a lot more views that way. I don't know how many people read all the comments, but they do. It's like super surprising,
It is. I wish I could claim that I was an expert. I'm probably the most ignorant person about social media. I don't do it right. I wish I did. I wish I knew how it worked. Apparently there are like headhunter type people you can hire to, juice your stuff up. But I've talked to people on Instagram. They hired the people that can give them an extra 15,000 followers, and they regret doing it because it's all junk. It's all phony baloney. It's like saying you've got so much stuff when you really don't. What's the point of that? You want people that really are interested in your stuff.
That's right. That's what I love about, especially my show here, building Rumble and building Artist Corner and those kind of things here too, and building my account on X and whatever, because these people that have thousands of followers and so forth, a lot of that, and I've been told by friends that have that as well too, that shows they are paid bots basically, so that they get these viewers, or they get these amount of views. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not going to go on, Instagram and pay for that. I mean, I guess you could if you guys really want to, and that might get your stuff out there even more. But the fact that, as I know everybody in my group, I know most of my actual people that follow me. And that's a really nice feeling to know that we are a community and one that we can lean on each other. And that's why I always say, guys, share. And I post that in the group all the time, because I can't be the only one sharing. I mean, I love to help promote you guys, but you guys need to help promote each other, and if we all did this, imagine how many more people would see that. Even if we have only a few hundred followers, you never know who that one person might be that sees this stuff, right?
Well, I'm glad you prompted people to do that, because I try to be more conscious of that too. And that's what I mean by when I say I don't do social media right. I don't. I assume that you're supposed to get on there and go look around and see what everybody else has posted on their pages, like even like over on Facebook. I don't do that. I go, well, for one thing, I don't have time to do that. I mean, who has time to do that? And the other thing is, Facebook, half the time they don't like what I post, and then they nuke my art site, which never has anything but art posts on it. Wow. If you're going to nuke me for something where I mouthed off. Don't nuke it. It's pure art. There's never any politics at all. They nuke that one too.
Right. I
very
know.
frustrating.
They did the same thing to me because we talked about this too. With like with Facebook, I'm over here. My whole school had a whole different account 4 times until it permanently got banned. Anything that even had that name in it. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. And then because they knew I was the headmaster, they came and banned me on my art site. They have now let me back up. But I'm like, I don't know. And I
Why
thought
am I
about
doing this?
Right. I thought about bringing our group there, but you guys, it takes me an hour just to do truth and excellence and then comment on all of your beautiful work. And you know what? I've got the podcast to worry about and getting all you wonderful people on. And now I've got a part-time job because the museum that wants my art said, would you be interested in coming and teaching the youth? I go, seriously? I would love that. Just be an art teacher, a few times, a month. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Right.
Have you ever been an art teacher?
I'm only in high school. I was an art teacher in high school in a public school. This is why I opened up my own, because what I saw, I mean, these kids didn't know about going forward, whether it was, a trade school or build your own business or go to college. They were just hopeless. They didn't know there were scholarships out there. They didn't know about FAFSA. They didn't know how to do a budget. They didn't. So I'm like, okay, I taught that to my art students on Friday. And they were like, what? I'm like, where's the advisors? And they're like, Miss Hamilton, you need to open up a school. And I did that for 4 years. But the main goal was to get my kids graduated, right? Which I did, and some others. But now, I mean, just to go and inspire these youth, who knows what I can stem from that? Be like, let's do some reading. Let's listen to some music. Let's do this while we paint. There's so much influence in a positive way. Just even hearing me tell them how they're possible. Can you imagine? That how much of a difference? Because I know it worked in my school. I know it worked in the high school. Those kids still reach out to me and tell me where they are. I mean, I've got like 20 kids from when I was teaching public school that every once in a while will still email me. Just let you know I'm doing this, or I just got this, or I just graduated, or whatever. So cool because that positive
what an
impact.
Affirmation. That is an affirmation right there
Right.
in space. But what you just said just proved that you have the heart of a teacher. You have to have that, or you shouldn't be teaching. Because I did. I was an art teacher for about 2 years, and I was awful at it. I was awful. You have the heart. You have the heart of a teacher. I had one of the pastors of one of the biggest churches in the town. I had the wife of the police chief. I had all kinds of people down there, and I did the best I could, but you know what? I don't have the heart of a teacher. You do. So you would be really, really, really good at it. I know my stuff, but it's just conveying it to them and making them feel important about it and getting them motivated. That's the heart of a teacher, and you have that.
I do. And it started when I adopted the kids, and I started with the homeschooling them and changing them because I saw that through art, that I have the 3 children that have not only disabilities, but came from that child trafficking world. So the horrors and foster care. So the horrors that they were going through. And I'm like, how can I get the spin? And art. It was art. If you guys, I mean, I love art personally, but to watch them change lives. Art is therapy, guys. And so I'm like, you don't have to be great at this. Let's start just mixing some colors. Let's go out and get some nature and make our own pigments. Let's just do really kind of cool stuff. And that just opens them up. But just as you're talking to them and telling them, how much they're possible in all the avenues, those kids might remember it. And I got, I think they're middle school age. That's a great time to show them that they are wonderful as they are and that they can be anything they want to in this world because everyone else is telling them something totally different. We know that, right?
Absolutely. Well, watch what happens when you pull up a 3 or 4 year old kid down in front of a thing of colors, like little watercolors or little acrylic colors, and just turn them loose. My little Roxy, my little granddaughter, we took her out back and we'd plop her down. You know what she loved to do? She loves to paint pumpkins. Not just carve them, but she likes to paint them with colors on them. And that kid, it's like they just go into their own little world, and they're completely uninhibited about mixing that color with this color. You know what's going to happen. You mix green and red, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get dirt. You're going to get muddy dirt. They don't care. They want to do it and have the experience of it. And you just sit there and watch them do it. It's hilarious. It's so much fun. It's like living life through their eyes again. Mm-hmm. It's a blessing.
It is. I know. I had a second grader that I really helped because she couldn't read. She didn't even know how to write. And her mom wanted to, have me. And I did it for a year. And I had that girl on butcher paper. Let's trace your body. Now paint whatever you want to on it. And I had to sometimes stop myself. I'll be honest, because I was like, all you want to do is mix all the colors together. Okay, wait. And everything was brown. It's like,
See, that's exactly it. But that's their experience. And so, and that's hard. My daughter had a teacher that would take the paintbrush and do it for her on the canvas.
right.
When I found out about that, that was it.
Right.
I did teach for a while. I never would do that. That's
Right.
their canvas, that's their paint, that's their brush, that's their soul, that's their expression. You guide them, you let them do it, not you. You don't need to be in the middle of it.
You're right, because I learned how to change that when they were like, well, how do I make orange? I need orange. And I'm like, well, okay, are you ready for me to show you without mixing all the colors? And they're like, she's like, yeah. And so when she was ready to learn that, then I was like, okay, let's go. Because you want to paint everything brown? You do you, honey. Let's go.
Yeah.
It was so
Well,
much
you know
fun.
what? That's the funnest part. You see that red right there? Yeah. Stick your brush in that and blob it over there. You see that
That's
yellow right there? Yeah. Stick your brush in that and blob it and mix it into the red. What'd you
That's
make?
right.
Orange.
Right. And then take them outside and be like, okay, let's take some grass and we're going to just add, some amazing oil to this. And we're going to make our own green, or we're going to take this wonderful beet and we're going to just literally, bleed it. Right. And we're going to make our own red. And she was unbelievable. She was like, what? Right. Dandelion. That makes great yellow.
Well, it's like mad scientists for kids. That's fun.
I love it. It
And you
was
get
great.
to be a kid with them. How can you
Right.
beat that?
No, I know. Just so much fun. And like I said, I'm looking forward to, but this, I love the world of art because I think it heals. I think it's therapeutic, and we need to beautify this world because, we can look at it as a really dark world, or we can look at it as look at all this beauty and talent that there is. Right.
Absolutely.
I love
Absolutely. Interesting you say that. My daughter and I went to the Van Gogh Museum years ago. And we were, we just went there for just a specific thing. We wanted to see all of Vincent's stuff at the museum there. And in addition to that, they also had an exhibit of Max Beckmann. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not. And we went from looking at Vincent van Gogh, and there's some emotion there. There's some difficulties and stress there too, but there's some real true beauty there too. Just raw, unfettered beauty. And then we went to this Max Beckmann show, and it was all just angst. It was all dark, black and white, and it was like gigantic, ugly cartoon pictures. That's basically what it was. That my daughter has a master's in European art history, which she achieved in Europe, and we just looked at each other and go, "What are we doing here? We don't." She said, "What do you think?" I think I just it isn't working for me. So we went around and looked at the Vincents again.
Right. And then he did take me. You know how many times I have begged Bob when he's gone on some travel, because and I'm going to bring this up here too, but I was like, can you just put me in a suitcase? But Bob went on a vacation. Not only did you just go on a vacation, but you teased us by sending us a little video from the beach. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I was desperate. All I had was an iPad, and I was lucky to figure out how to even do that. I was trying to record something, and I ended up posting something that I recorded the last time I was there. I don't know what I was doing, but anyway, I was glad to get to share that. Oh my gosh!
Oh my
You don't
gosh.
get to go there anymore. They're going to sell it.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That is so crazy because
It was
I was
fun.
so jealous. It was fun. And I'm really glad you did it. And please take this to heart that I really am happy that you did it. But there was a huge part of me going, are you serious? You're just going to rub that in?
Oh, I would never do it in that spirit at all.
No, you didn't. I know that. I know
I
you.
always assume if I'm enjoying it, you might too. That's my approach.
Yes. I did. I loved it because your paintings take us on journeys. Your video took us on journeys, but I was slightly jealous. I'll be real honest, but real quickly, JJ, thank you so much over there. Gifting a cookie on Pill. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate your support, my friend. But I do. I mean, it's no different to me, your little video versus your artwork, because I love to look and dive into your artwork and go, I want to go there. I mean, how many times do I respond to you? I'm ready to go.
Absolutely.
Let's go. Let's go.
Absolutely. I feel sorry for my family. Unfortunately, when I plan it, sometimes it ends up being more of an adventure than it does it's not a vacation. Ah,
Right.
oh
Oh my
gosh,
gosh.
I
So
can tell you some.
awesome.
I can tell you some hair raisers, but I haven't been to Europe that many times. I've only been in France twice, so it's not like I'm a world traveler. I have friends that are. My neighbor is. She's over there 4 or 5 times a year.
Really?
Yes.
I'm thinking you're over there almost every year to visit your daughter. Is what
No,
I'm thinking.
no, not at
Okay.
all. Not at all. I just a little bit I've been over there. I've been able to, it's compressed. When you're over there, you see so much so quick, and then when you get home, you can kind of unpackage it all. And so
Right.
that's really what I've done. I took a lot of photos when I was over there, and I've used it for a lot of stuff.
That's right. I should have done more too. I needed to actually get those out because I have been to some amazing places and I have not even thought about just painting them because I'm more of the abstract artist. But who's to say that I can't paint an abstract version of that? But you're inspiring.
Absolutely.
I have been to many
Absolutely.
countries around the world. And so, yeah, speaking of inspiration, guys, we're going to keep on talking, but I want to start throwing this up here so everyone can go and give him a follow, please. If you're not following him on Truth or X. And Bob, I don't know your Instagram. Sorry, I'm not on Instagram. I'm still kind of iffy. I mean, I'm on Facebook, but I'm still kind of iffy about it. But you can shout out your Instagram so people can follow you there.
I'm RW Bob Goetting on Instagram. I don't even know the specifics. This is how bad I am about social media. I can't even tell you what it is. I'm on there and I post, but I don't know what it actually is. And I'm afraid to shrink in the screen and losing you. So I can't really go searching for it.
Okay, that's okay.
I'm
You
over
guys,
there though.
he's over there. He is over there. You guys can find him. If you guys are over there and you know him and you're following him, let us know in the chats or put it in the permanent comments. But I am not an Instagram girl. I'm barely, thinking about the Facebook thing, but I know that I love my True Social and I love X. So excited with the explosion of art going, and our group over there is really, it's exploding. We're almost at 100 members right there. So you guys join, and give this amazing artist a follow. Okay, Bob, I put these in the order that you sent them.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're just kind of going to go with what you gave me, and you get to, let me move this so everybody gets the great experience, and we'll move the logo out of the way here. And so, all right, you get to take us to where we are.
Oh, you know what? I included a group of rejects of art that I produced that was either rejected by the gallery or rejected by the show jury or something of that nature. What was funny about this one was the art director that ran the gallery said, "Hey, you need to go down to Montana de Oro and do some paintings of that place." I said, "Okay." So I go down there and I did about 6 or 8 of them, something like that. And this is one of them. Absolutely beautiful place. It's raw, unprocessed California coastline. Absolutely beautiful. There's you can walk for miles right here and not see there's no homes, no anything. You don't think of California being like that anymore, but there are miles on end of beach that's nothing but water, cliffs, and rolling hills. There's no buildings, anything there. It's amazing. It doesn't really, you can't imagine that's true, but it really is. And this was one of them. And so I thought, man, this came out okay. It was the poppies and the cliff and the beautiful ocean and all this kind of stuff. They didn't like it. And I thought, well, you're the one that sent me down there to paint it. What's the deal here? So anyway, this one didn't go anywhere.
Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me.
No, but my point in adding these is everybody makes something that doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to or get accepted the way you think it's going to be. And I can't, I've done this for a long time. I cannot tell you how many times I thought, man, this is the best painting. They're going to love this. And just, it's like you get the comatose stare, man. And it's just like, okay, but don't let that discourage you.
Right?
Never let it discourage you.
Oh my gosh. Because I love this. There's so much about this, guys. If you take a moment just to look at splashes of color from the sky to the water, to the beautiful flowers, wildflowers on, the colors that are in the cliff, in the rocks. There's so much beauty in this. And this is a perfect example of don't let others tell you your work is bad or, it's like, wow.
Yeah,
Right.
I got the death stare.
My gosh.
Oh,
At least
wow.
you didn't get cussed out like me. I mean, I was like, woo, that guy was dropping F-bombs like you wouldn't believe. I'm like, what?
Yeah, see? Well, I didn't get yelled at. I didn't get cussed at. So what you experienced was way worse than mine. I just gotta like, what are you thinking, Dodo?
Right? Exactly. You're already lighting up the chat. I'm gonna, thank you guys for your comments and compliments. I will get these all up here. So glad any new viewers that just showed up. Welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you. This is amazing. And I agree. They're lunatics if they don't like Captain Homer's work, right? I'm glad you guys think the same thing. Wow. Oh, this is awesome.
In all fairness, this same guy that rejected this, he actually got me into the gallery to start with. And it was like a cold call. I walked in there, didn't know him from anyone. And at first he said, I don't think we can use you. And then I got to talking to him for about maybe 20 minutes. And next thing I knew, it was in there, and it was a very successful process. We did really well there for about 8 years. They finally closed it, but for about 8 years we did pretty well there.
Wow, I agree. It's absolutely beautiful. You guys are you wait, and we just started, and I love it. Yep, you guys they're all hearing you. Do not listen to others. This is fun, and he's the one that got you there. That's amazing.
Yep. Same thing with this one. I thought this one is it's a shot of Pismo Beach, and I thought it had some nice little sparkle and atmosphere to it. And this is a 36 by 48 painting, and I had it in in a beautiful frame, and I got the comatose. I got nothing out of it, and I thought, man, and I did repaint this one, the same subject, but in a slightly different lighting, and I did get way more reception of it. But I thought this had some atmosphere to it, but the guys, the people that controlled the controls didn't think so. So I got the thumbs down on this one too.
Wow. I'm with Frosty. He just said if that gallery would have taken your painting, they might be still open.
Well, yeah, it could be. The same thing though. Flip side, I've like thrown one in right at the end. Like they said, bring 10 over. All right, so I'd bring 10 over, and I'd throw one in right at the end, and I think, well, I don't know, it's a shot at it. Well, they kick this one out, but they kept that one. But then by the time I got home, they sold that one. So it's kind of like, okay, well, it's you can't trying to figure out what people actually like is very difficult. You can go with the subject and all that kind of thing, but you just got to find the right pair of eyeballs. Don't think just because it's two people that were in one gallery. Don't think everybody else is going to reject it as well. So that's my message there.
I agree. I mean, there are lunatics out there that will pay millions of dollars for a banana that's duct taped to a wall and call it art. So, you never know. I'm not saying any of your guys' work is like that, but you never know who thinks what is pretty, who thinks what is art. I mean, to me, look at the beautiful purples and blues in this, right? With those beautiful pink and red hues inside of it. I mean, this just is some of my favorite colors in life. So it just reaches to me. And I'm sure I've told you this is phenomenal already. I'm like, wow. And this is a reject, what he considers a rejected piece.
Matter of fact, the gallery owner, the lady, there was a man and a lady that owned them. They were ogres, just absolute ogres. She criticized me for using too much purple on a lot of my paintings. There's no purple in nature. She had no idea what she was talking about. But she owns the place. What do you do? But the people, there was other stuff that did sell that she didn't like anyway. So what's funny about it? When they're making money off you, when your stuff sells, all of a sudden it's okay, right? Whether they liked it or not.
I would have given her a total history lesson. I'm like, so you know where the
Oh,
royals got purple, right? When they went down to the coast of Israel and they got these beautiful, like clam or oyster kind of shellfish, and
yep.
that's these indigos that turn these beautiful purples, and only because they're so rare, only the royals got these. And you
Yes.
watch and you see their wonderful, beautiful purple cloaks. So don't tell me
100%.
purple doesn't exist. You know? Or what
Yeah.
about lavender bushes? I mean, I would have sit there and gone to town on her.
Oh, I was just, well, out of respect for Michael and Suze, they were the ones that really did the
Right.
selling. I just kept my mouth shut and just kind of, okay.
Sometimes you have to.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's right. You're like, you do you. That's what my husband always
Yeah,
says. And I'm like,
exactly. Knock yourself out there, dear.
I love it. Absolutely love it. That is a beautiful piece, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're into these wonderful ones. And I snagged a few of these because we've got the spring show coming up, the Easter show. If you want, I know you give me some more, but that's coming up in a few weeks. And I can't wait to celebrate spring, celebrate the Savior, celebrate, new life, whatever you guys want to send to me. But I love it. He's got a beautiful flower collection. So tell us about this.
This is blue hibiscus. As a matter of fact, it's the only right now, it's the only one blooming out there. And it doesn't look like a regular hibiscus. I'm not sure. I guess that's what it's categorized as, but it looks more like like a flowering tree. It doesn't really look like a shrub. Hibiscus looks like a shrub to me. It's got the rich foliage and all this. This has thinner, crunchier looking foliage, but when the light hits those things, the color spectrum just kind of falls apart a little bit, so you can see all the different shades, because it's called a blue hibiscus. Well, as any artist knows, there's there's probably 1,000 shades of blue, and so all I did was accent it and simplify it and amplify it, and that's what I did with this one. So I put it down and left it clean and sweet. I didn't fuss with it. I didn't refine it. I just left it nice and bold and the way I like it. Kind of like a homage to Vincent. Vincent didn't paint fussy flowers. He painted their expression, and that's kind of what I was trying to do with this.
I agree. What would you say your art style is like? Is it impressionistic? I mean,
I would say it's post-impressionistic. It's kind of the branch that goes toward expressionism, as opposed to the like pointillism. The scientific. Yeah, I'm not a big pointillist kind of person. That got too scientific for me. I enjoy the expressive side of it more than I do the scientific stuff. I don't care about the scientific stuff. I care about expression and clean color and bold lines and a personal connection.
Yes, I agree. I think that's that's why I kind of go to abstract, because I love lines. I love bold colors. I love all this stuff, and I'll leave the photorealism and the other stuff to you other masters. You guys go ahead and handle that, because I know that there's many in our group that are phenomenal.
Yes.
And we'll just leave it to them.
My suggestion there is paint your personality. If your personality is more toward the refined side of it, paint it that way.
Right.
I paint messy and sloppy, and yours is like filet mignon. Mine's like ribs. That's okay.
I love ribs too. Right.
Yeah.
I love your work. I love that about it, because it's amazing, and all of your stuff and the wonderful colors, and it pops off and the texture. Like this one, guys, look at the thickness and the texture. It's just literally popping off the piece here. How beautiful is this?
The sunflowers are among my favorite flowers. I mean, I just love their boldness, and they're just all about full on joy, man. That's what they're about. Mm-hmm. And like right now, I go for a run out in the country here, and it's been a mild winter, I'll admit that. But I'm running through, or trying to get through, weeds that are like, 2.5 feet tall, and there's sunflowers out there. And they've been out there for the whole winter time, and it doesn't snow here. We didn't even get, into the mid 30s this year. But those things have been growing out there all through the winter, and now they're like 4 feet tall, and they look just like that. And They're just as happy as they can be. And they're a summer flower, but they made it through the winter. Bloom where you're planted. And if that's what I take from it. Just take the gift that God gives you and go with it.
Right. I have to wait until, summer for us to see those here. But I do remember when in Arizona, you got to see these more around the winter time because of, the wonderful temperatures are, there during that time. And I
Yes,
love sunflowers. I love that they're beautiful and tall and they're like, talk about be the light. Oh, that's a perfect thing. I sunflower things. I'm like, world full of roses, be a sunflower. I love that
yeah,
saying, you know,
exactly,
because you can't miss them. They're tall, they're bright, they're like, here I am, full of all kinds of
exactly,
beautiful.
exactly.
Love it.
They're bold and
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's right. Yeah, you guys know me way too much because I'll tell you what, you're right. They're my favorite colors. You guys can absolutely see that red and yellow, and anything in between, pretty much. That's right, JJ. I get all excited about that. That is awesome.
This one's a midget too. This is not a big
Is
one.
it?
This is only like 8 by 10, something like that. So it's kind of a midget
No.
for me.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever even known you to paint that small.
Yeah, I do once in a while. My wife beats me into submission and says, "Can you paint a couple of little small ones?" She's got like a whole collection. She's got like, I don't know, 10 or 12, 20 of them. I don't know. They're scattered around all over the house. And you know what she does with them? I paint them on 8 by 10 or 6 by 8, 8 by 10 panels, and
Right?
put them on a easel, little tabletop easel. They make a really nice gift. They make a nice little color accent, and you don't have to worry about a frame or anything like that. Just paint the back of it black or gray or brown or whatever you want. Leave it white, doesn't matter. But yeah, they're really handy for that.
Yeah, they are. And like you said, they really make nice gifts. And then also when you paint large, like you guys, I mean, you can tell everybody here in a second how big you paint, but really big, like I do, you run out of wall space, So doing little ones, you can put them on the table, you set them out as a gift. But your normal size, Bob, your favorite canvas size is what size?
I do a lot of 24-30s, 24-36, 16-20s. Those are typical, but I really enjoy the 36-48s. That's got some nice elbow room. I
My
like that.
favorite.
I like being able to get the physical element into it. I paint standing up. I never sit down.
Hmm.
So that's just my approach. I just always have just and that allows you to get physically into it, and I like that part.
I do too. And that is maybe one of the reasons I like that exact same time. The 36-by-48 is my favorite as well. I'm trying to do smaller pieces so I can get more accustomed to the smaller pieces, but I have a hard time. I need them to have like a little, table easel, whatever. But, I find myself having to even sit down more with a littler one because I am like, oh my gosh, these brushes are going to kill me. But
They
when go ahead.
That is not easy. And one
No.
thing I have done with little panels like this is get a fairly good size hunk of cardboard and just do a couple little dots and hot glue them to the
Nice.
cardboard, and then you can put them on an easel, and you have more room to be able to, you're not worrying about standing on that little tiny dude. You can let it run off the edge a little bit.
That is a phenomenal tip, everyone, right there.
Yeah,
I had never
that works
thought
really
about.
well.
I was thinking about using my drawing board and being able to somehow asphyxiate it to the, because I have big, huge drawing boards as well, and then being able to put it on my canvas. But
Yes.
I love that idea. Man, write it down, everyone. You're getting some tips tonight. Get some cardboard.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Awesome.
Cardboard is fun.
I love it. I love it. Now tell us about this piece.
That one is there again, the blue hibiscus, the little blue accent there, and the purple and orange, the purple background with the orange hibiscus, or excuse me, the orange iris. That one is, and I definitely used alizarin crimson and sap green to outline most of the foliage, and more along the alizarin crimson outline for the flowers, and then worked in very big, bold, unaltered brushstrokes. And the
Nice.
thing to remember when you're painting iris or anything of this nature, it's an orange iris, but if you really look at it and you let your eyes absorb it, there are like 20 different shades of orange in that thing. And there
Right.
are, when they're brand new, when they're first bloomed, there's actually patches of green in the
I
flower
love
petals. And so this photo is a little bit warm for that. It doesn't quite show the range, but in real life, those iris have far more color range than what this shows. And it makes the flower feel alive, even though you're using a very expressive brushstroke to
Right.
depict it.
You know, I agree because I have a very large monitor here, you guys. So you guys, if you don't have that, you probably can't see, you know, to zoom in. This is another reason why to join the corner so that you can zoom in on the photos of these wonderful paintings. But I can see the green in here, and
Oh,
it
good.
just right. It builds so much layers to this too, you know, and just reflects and helps the color reflect. But Bob, we had a question on your last one. Real quick. So the sunflower one, was this a palette knife? I think you all only use brushes, right?
It is just brush.
Okay.
Yeah, it is just brush. This one's brush as well, but
Right.
big fat loaded brush.
You ever use palette knives for your work?
Yes, yes. I have since the 70s. So yes, I do. I like it very much. If you ever really want a challenge, try painting in with a palette knife in acrylic.
I do.
That is a challenge
Oh, I
because
love it.
you have to move fast, and once it's there, it's not moving. And if you try to move it, you'll wreck it. So
Well,
you have to paint. You have to be really focused. You have to be right on the top of your game to be able to do that. The biggest canvas I've ever painted like that was 2436, and it came out okay, but it was a challenge. And I was dumb enough to paint it outside when it was about 90 degrees.
that
So
too.
it was a challenge, but it came out really good.
Right. So I love palette knife painting, Bob. And I'm going to tell you guys, I love 40 by 40s. And all of my planets that you guys have ever seen are literally created by a palette knife on 40 by 40s in acrylic outside. And
Wow.
so I have a little bit of a different experience too, but I grab multiple different paints and palette knife that thing and just create the texture and build the layers and stuff. And whenever I do planets, usually it's with a palette knife because I love the way I can play with that and blend those colors in. So it's really fun, but it's hard for me to do a little one. I have a few little ones I did on paint and sips. One I literally washed underneath the sink because I was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. But give me a big canvas and I'm like, woo, here we go. Right.
Yeah,
I love it.
the little ones can be. I think the little ones are bigger challenge than the big ones are, personally.
I agree.
Yeah.
I get so stressed out. It's not even funny. And then you have people like TJ Works who does them so small. They're like little 1x1s. You know, you're like, what?
I see those and I'm just like my mouth is hanging open.
Right. We all have our specialties, guys. And that's
Absolutely.
where we find our home.
Paint your personality. You know, if you paint small, highly detailed, paint it that way.
Nice. Yep, exactly. Oh, I'm glad a lot of you guys have a large monitor. So I'm so excited that you guys get to view these like I do. All right. Tell us about this amazing piece.
That one is one of the first ones I painted in 2005. I had taken a hiatus for about 6-8 years. And my wife suggested, why don't you get your color paints out and try a couple paintings again. And I did, and this was one of the first ones I did, and it was a alla prima plein air. You know, I went right out in the backyard, and there was some iris, and there was some rosemary, blooming rosemary that was growing behind it. And I thought, man, you know what? I'll just do a real quick little study here. So that's how this one came out. And as a matter of fact, there was also some what is that called? There's a type of banana plant that's Abyssinian. I can't remember. Anyway, it's an African type of banana, and that's what that red rib is in the background there. Beautiful. But I wanted to just lay colors down in real simple patterns and bring the interaction between the iris, the foliage of the iris, and that sparkly rosemary there, you know, with the little blooms through it, scattered through it. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, the background is almost just like a stain. You know, it came out a little bit brown, and so I basically pulled some of it off, and then fattened up some of the paint for the iris and such. So you can see certain spots are pretty thin, and all my paintings have an underpainting of some type. So underneath all of that is probably like a peach colored latex and acrylic underpainting. Never paint on a white, just a
Yeah, I
straight white
agree.
canvas. Just color it up a little bit, texture it up a little bit, and give yourself some character. That's because that really sets apart um, a really intricate surface compared to an over simple surface. So and that kind of, your eye picks that kind of stuff up, even if you're not really aware of it. Your eye senses it.
You're right. I'm going to be doing a paint and sip here, and I'm just reminding, I might have to tell everyone to tone. I call it toning your canvas. You
Right.
can, even if you just use a really watered down yellow or blue or whatever, and you just are, really just let that really liquidy to tone that canvas, it's going to still help on no matter what we do. Right. And I love
Exactly.
that. Normally I'm the same way with you. I love to literally, I do layers of after the gessoing, even if it comes pre-gessoed, I do layers of gesso, then I do a toned layer, and then I might do some texture on that. And there's a lot of work just to even get the back of the canvas done before I even do the painting.
Exactly. Well, you know what it does? It's even if you, it depends on what your technique is there, but there are times when I'll put one down, and usually what I'll use is white latex paint, white acrylic paint with yellow ochre and alizarin crimson, and I'll range it depending on what what the subject's going to be. If it needs to be cooler, I'll add just a touch of dioxazine purple. Be careful with that, because if you do that, purple chills it off really quick. So you got to be careful with it, but give yourself a little background there. That tends to hold the whole canvas together. And you have a background color to it. Your paint is never going to be exactly the same thickness across the surface. And so sometimes a little bit of that underpainting can come through in certain spots over the whole canvas, and it really kind of gives it some adhesion, some cohesion.
Exactly. And beautiful. It also makes a beautiful texture, environment as well, too, as you guys can see on this piece, as an example. Look at how beautiful that is, from the sepia tones to the greens. It's almost even like a marbling, effect here. It's beautifully done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's pop off the canvas on this one. Look at this.
Now that's a more recent version of poppies and lupin. I have I don't know what it is. I love poppies, but I cannot get them to grow in my backyard. I don't get enough sunlight back there. I've got palm trees back there. Doggone it, I love my palm trees, but the poppies love sun. And so does lupin. Lupin is really happy with that. I just wanted a real splash. I didn't want to refine it. I just wanted the color, the color complements, the greens, the purples, the oranges, the reds, the red accents. And I just wanted something really expressive and completely non-fussy, just almost abstract expressionist poppies kind of thing.
Right.
And that's kind of what that is.
I was really kind of thinking this. This one has a little tendency of an abstract to it as well.
Yes,
I love that.
Yeah, it's more of a focus on composition and color. It's not really a focus on botany or anything like that. I have friends that are really good at that. I have one friend that can paint like pelicans, like I've never even seen anything like this. But and I appreciate that. But this is the opposite spectrum of that. This is more about the color and the gesture of the living thing and your interpretation of it.
I agree. An explosion of color and life, because we can tell what this is without having everything finally defined. But you mentioned something. You're like, this is my newest version, and I don't know if you did it with this piece, but sometimes you are known to literally say, you know what, this one hasn't moved anywhere. I don't know. I'm going to really repaint over that entire canvas. Number one, it adds texture, but you do this. I don't know how often, but you have done this multiple times, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've even done it so many times I wish I hadn't, and somebody wanted to buy the one that I painted over.
Oh, wow. What happens if, do you just kind of kick yourself going, oh man?
You know what? It's always a crapshoot anyway. So it's kind of like, oh yeah. I mean, you do. Well, what happened in the most recent one is I ended up painting something else for them. They said, well, can you paint something like it? That's tough.
Yeah.
That is tough. You're talking about a canvas that has 5,000 brushstrokes on it. and you want something like that, they might see something in that canvas you're not even aware of,
Right.
and you're trying to emulate it or reproduce it, and that's tough. It worked, so she was happy with what came out, but that is really difficult. But
I
sometimes,
can't do that, right?
as
It's
far as I'm
amazing.
concerned, you're the artist, you're the judge. Somebody else can say what they want, but it's up to you. You're the artist, you're the judge.
Right, to do duplicate pieces. And I just saw this recently with Kate, and I was like, she did that wonderful Savior, and she said she got 3 commissions, all the same piece, and I could see slight differences. You guys may not, for the normal, eye, probably not, but again, I'm a teacher, I'm an artist, so I see slight differences, but she nailed it pretty close to the exact same thing for all 3. I'm like, wow, because to really duplicate your own art on another canvas exactly the same, I'm like, wow. So you're right, because there's going to be stuff that's different. You're expressing yourself a certain way. And I'm really glad that whoever bought your piece was like, I love it. Okay, this is good. This is what I wanted.
Kate is an exceptional talent.
Right.
And painting people that's an art all by itself. And she is exceptional what she paints.
Right. Right. And she just did 3 of the exact same paintings, guys.
I saw those. Those were magnificent.
But you made a good point, though. I mean, if you guys want a challenge out there, try taking one of your pieces and trying to copy it exactly. It is not easy at all.
No, it is not.
Amazing, just amazing. And I'm sure she, back to your customer, I am thrilled, because who wouldn't love a wonderful Bob Goetting, right? We all would love one. I don't care how different. That's amazing. Oh, all right, tell us about this sweet piece.
I saw these out there one late afternoon, and I thought, you know what? It doesn't have a lot of contrast to it, but they were out there kind of like in halfway shadow, and I just love the gestural quality of the bearded iris. There's a bunch of different kinds of iris, and I'm not smart enough to know, knowledgeable enough to know all the different ones, but this is the bearded iris, and it just has such an elegant look to it. And when it was in this light, you could see the velvety texture of the petals. That purple, especially the dark colored ones, the real deep purple ones, and they had that little red, whatever that thing's called in the middle of it, the pistil, the iris, or I don't know what that's called. Anyway, the middle part of the flower that has the little color, the brighter red color in it. It was just so intriguing, and it's understated, but it was fun to paint.
Oh, just so beautiful. And you're right, because sometimes those beautiful purple ones that almost come off with like a black velvety,
Yes.
kind of in certain areas of them, where it's just that dark purple. It's not really a black, but black is not really black. There's so many colors in a black, but
That's
they can have those.
right.
And you captured that on your edges here, and just beautifully, and you captured that velvety look so wonderfully. I mean, that's not the only piece, guys. Look at the texture of the rocks and stuff even in front of it. Just fantastic piece here.
It was fun to paint. I did enjoy that one. This must have been a bunch. This was either before my lawn guy killed a bunch of them off, so I'm gonna have to replant.
Are you sad or kind of happy about that?
I'm not happy.
Not happy.
I like my lawn man Jeff, but he gets wild with this weed sprayer, and it's kind of like, spray the weeds, don't spray the iris. Thanks, appreciate it.
Right. I mean, the only thing I would kind of get excited, because I'm like, maybe we'll try some different kind of flower. Let's mix it up. But I've got
that's true. Right. You know what's funny about these, iris? You'll plant like 8 different kinds, and little by little, all the ones that you like the most, they quit, and then the ones you don't like the most, they pop up everywhere. It's like out in the backyard right now. It's yellow ones and bright light purple ones, and all these really cool ones like this one, they're not out there anymore.
Oh, how funny!
I know.
I do. I love, so for Mother's Days or whatever, I always ask the kids to buy me, so buy me roses that are going to die, buy me a plant. And so we have them lined the driveway, and I've got so many colors. It's amazing. I've got, yellow ones. I've got all different shades of reds and pinks, and you name it. And I love it. But you're right. It's like the ones that I'm hoping, because I love my red and I love my yellow ones. But then I've got this pink one, and there's no disrespect to the pink one, but it's growing all over the place, right? But I have these beautiful, like Lincoln red roses, and I'm like, come on, baby, right?
I'm pulling for you.
I know. I'm praying for you. I'm doing whatever. But I totally understand that. That's awesome.
I
Bees
don't
are
understand. I don't
fantastic,
understand why that happens, but it does.
right? I don't know. Some just want to shine and be their own entities, I guess, and say, "Hey, enjoy me. Here I am."
Exactly. Well, true, and we should.
Right? Absolutely fantastic. Love it.
Thank you.
Oh, take us here.
I can't remember how I came
So
across
beautiful.
these. They were just. I think I was inspired by Vincent. He did some
Mhm.
sunflower heads, and they were off the plant, and they were laying on a little table or something. And I wanted to try that and just basically almost do a complete, almost abstract kind of thing. And I wanted all the colors to come apart so that there was no hardly any blending. There's a lot of wet into wet, but as far as real blending, no edges are blended. Just leave them bold, and let every little part of it sing on its own. And that's kind of what I did with that one.
I just love this. Another version of these beautiful sunflowers. And I just, right. So sometimes you don't have to do the whole plant. It's just, again, and this is almost an abstract in a way, but not. I mean, you know what they are, right?
Yeah,
And look, explosion of color that's going on in this piece everywhere you look. And I love the contrast between the blues and the purples behind these pops of green, red, and yellow and orange. I mean, it's just fantastic, Bob.
it was fun. The blue is really a powerful color. It a lot of times it plays the like the background. It's like the base or the background, but it plays a really important color, and it really spikes those yellows and oranges. And taking the blues apart a little bit, like some of that is like ultramarine, and then there's parts where there's nice big fat blobs of
Oh,
maybe a little bit of dioxazine purple cut into the ultramarine. And then
right.
other places you can see where a little bit of the cobalt comes in there.
Yeah, I
True
love.
cobalt is going to be a little bit green, ultramarine is going to be a little bit purple, and then you can add sap green on one end and dioxazine purple on the other end and kind of stretch them out and give them some variety. And that's what I did.
Mhm. Now, do you use the real stuff, the real like expensive ones, like the true cobalts and the real cadmiums?
Yes.
I do too. They say they're toxic, but there is nothing like them. They are expensive, but they're worth it. I mean, my two favorite colors are cadmium red and cobalt blue, hands down.
I don't think there's really a substitute for them. There's other reds and things, but they just don't have it's kind of like they're out of tune. they
Hmm.
they just don't have that straight on value that you're looking for. So
Right.
that's kind of what I always I use a moderate high level. I use Gamblin for a lot of my oil paint, and I use Sennelier. That's another one. That's a
Old
French one.
Holland is a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Hmm.
And they just I like their consistency, and I like the textural elements and the fat pigmentation. They never cheat you on there's no fillers in them. It just has that real nice thick, deep pigmentation.
Beautiful. I know, guys. Oh, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing piece, isn't it? Oh, I should pick. That's a good question, Donna. He says, when do you know when to stop on a piece?
That that is the question.
Hmm.
That is that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I cannot tell you how many paintings I painted into oblivion, and trying to bring them back to where you had them is tough, but it can be done. And
Right.
it's that is a really hard question, and I don't have a good answer for that. You have to get to the point where it says what you wanted to say, and you have to be willing to leave it maybe just a little bit rough edged here and there, but sometimes those rough edges are what makes it have the value that it has. Over refining a painting can take the life out of it really easy, and I do that. I've had that happen to me. I don't know how many times.
Right.
So that's a really good question. I wish I had a straightforward answer, but that is the ultimate judgment call. There was
Yeah.
an old guy that used to paint in Walter Foster art books. He said it takes two people to paint, one to paint and the other one to hit him in the head with a 2x4 when he needs to quit. So and he's right. I mean, it's really hard. That's a tough call.
That's right. I was just going to mention that, it's great if you have a partner or a friend or something that can sit there and look at it. Cause I will literally say to my husband, and a lot of the times he knows when I'm not done, but I'll say, okay, what are you seeing out of this? What, tell me the concepts and explain. And I've taught him over the years so he knows how to kind of even explain it to me. Well, I'm seeing that this is this, or obviously it's a rose, or, this doesn't have he'll ask me questions like, this doesn't have the sheen that it normally has with your pieces. Are you letting it dry? And things like that to make me recognize, okay, am I done? Or it's like, there might be a little too much on this, but this is years of getting him to see my work. But he also knows that when I'm not done and I haven't reached that point that he thinks I'm trying to, because I like to show him inspiration images. He goes, yeah, you're not done yet, and walks away. I'm like, okay. And I'm glad for that relationship, because there are times, and it's like sometimes when you overwork these, you're like, okay, now I've just got to scrape and we've got to cover, and that could be a whole mess.
Yep. That's my wife takes almost invariably, they'll see something in it you don't.
Right.
They'll find something in it. And honestly, I mean, I could be completely blind to it. And mm-hmm. I get this. Are you done yet? Are you finished? And I mean, it's like deadpan inquiry. Well, I'm not sure. And then, she'll wander off, and then I'll look at it for a while and, well, you know what? Maybe I need to do that. And probably 80% of the time doing that is okay. But, you run the risk. You always run the risk. You want to keep messing with it. It's your baby.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. I love what Frosty says. He goes, when you're done, when the guy at the gallery says, we'll take this one.
Well, that's a good point. Right. That's a good point.
That is a good point. But before you can even get to a gallery, guys, another great point I think too is a lot of times there's two things. Moving the canvas around, put it upside down and take a different view at it, or take a picture of it and look at it that way. Because sometimes we're just so right next to that canvas that we might not be able to see it.
Very true.
Just an opinion for me.
Very true. Paint it in one spot and then come in and look at it in a different light. That's right. Very helpful. Just what you said is exactly true.
Right. That's right. Oh my gosh, they're so amazing, guys. And I love this piece, but one of my favorite colors in the world is opera pink. I think you know the name of that, but that's that bright neonish, whatever pops of pink that's going on in this one. That is so awesome.
That was actually almost literally in my backyard. I had so much trouble trying to get a sunflower to grow. I literally we have sunflowers that grow out just like weeds. And they're like these little bitty, they're like almost like I don't know, like they're a weed. They'll have like 200 blooms on them, and they're little bitty flowers, but they'll grow like 8-10 feet tall. So I tried all kinds of seeds and I couldn't make them work. So I stuck some of those back there, and finally they took off. And I had this monster of a sunflower, and it grew up right in front of the bougainvillea. And that bougainvillea was one of those almost like a fuchsia pink color. Oh, yes. And it was behind the flowers, and then it was in front of a kind of a brownish gray fence, and the color contrast was really awesome. And I tried to give it that real casual, non-composed kind of look, almost like it was just almost like a snapshot. And so that was really what I was after. You got to arrange it, so that it has a good composition to it, of course. But I wanted that real casual, almost weeds growing kind of look to it. I didn't want it to look posed. I didn't want it to look like flowers in a vase or something. I wanted the opposite of that. So that's kind of what I was after there.
Oh, you just nailed it. I think that is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And just the explosions of color. And now that you tell the story, I'm like, okay, I can see that, because you have these amazing bougainvilleas behind it, right? They're just going, here we are. This sunflower is literally taking the show, but we're still here.
Exactly. And if you don't think so, we'll show you how pink we are.
Look how pretty I am.
That's what was happening.
Right. That is a hard color to make. I still have not mastered that. It is one of the only few colors. A lot of them I make myself. You can't make, your primaries, obviously, but opera pink is that neon pink. I still cannot master it. So you might have to DM me a recipe, because I'm like, I try and try. And so finally I just go, you know what? I have a great brand that I love, and I'm just going to order the opera pink. And that's what it's called. Because it's that beautiful neon, gorgeous pink.
Honestly, trying to remember what that is, I'm not really 100% certain, but it's more than one color.
Yes, it is.
And so I think it's alizarin crimson, red cad. There's probably some cad orange mixed into the alizarin crimson with just a touch of white. Alizarin crimson makes a really, really great pink, and you can do a lot of things with it. You can cut it with white, you can cut it with yellow, you can cut it with ochre. There's a lot of different directions you can take it, and you can even add blue to it and take it completely the opposite direction. So that's probably what that was. I don't use acronone or whatever that red. I can't remember what that red is. I don't use that a whole lot, because of all the reds, it kind of feels dead to me. I don't know what it is about that color, but I wish I could tell you exactly what I used, but it was probably just a combination of the three or four colors that I mentioned.
And I use them. I just get seen trying to get that. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to send it to you, DM. I'll be like, see what I mean? This is the color I'm going for. And I have it. And a lot of times, I do have white. I rather use a transparent white, an oil white, because, I don't want to get it too pastel-y per se.
Exactly.
But, I do love the transparent white to mix. It's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
You can turn it chalky real quick.
Yeah, you can. I agree, guys. It is a gorgeous piece, but what one isn't? Aren't we just absolutely in love? Oh, now we're on to the barns. Something else you have a master of love for. First, before you tell us about these, what is it about barns that you love? I mean, we all love old school barns, but you have a real love for barns.
I like their character.
Yeah.
This gal contacted me. I've known her for a long time. She works for a realty company, and she said, I want to commission you to paint something of the Visalia area. And she came up with an idea, and I can't remember what it was. And oh man, it wasn't something that appealed to me at all. And she said, well, I'm looking for something that's a landmark. And I said, well, what about that old barn that's right between Visalia and Farmersville on 198? Oh, that's a great idea. Right. So I said, okay, well, let me work something up on that. So I painted 2 paintings. This was a commission. And we agreed on a price and all that, and the subject and all that kind of stuff. But, and this is a kind of a tip, I painted 2 paintings for him. I painted one from one side of the barn, one side of the west side of it, and one from the east side of it. I painted one of them in oil and one of them in acrylic. Wow. And this was the acrylic one, so technically it's a reject. Mm-hmm. and she picked the oil. She picked the oil. It had a little more character to it. But this one, I don't know if you remember it or not, but this one ended up being, I reworked it, and it's the one that ended up with the American flag on it with the pumpkins.
Yes, I've got it. I've got that one, yeah.
It's the same painting. But this one's also the one that had the little red sign on the front that said FJB. This is the same one. I had some fun with this one.
That's something else that I wanted to ask you. You do. I mean, so when you go, you literally, sometimes you paint them, sometimes you add certain things, but he gets every holiday, every movement. He takes his painting and adds some kind of character to it, whether it's Valentine's Day with the pirates,
yeah.
Right?
I actually had someone get upset at me with that one.
Really? Who? In our group?
No, not in the truth group. No, not in the Art Corner group. No. It was a lady in another. I don't know if I really appreciate that, and she's normally pretty appreciative. And I said, well, it's all just in good humor.
Wow.
She dropped it. Well, it's kind of I don't know, dark humor or obnoxious humor, whatever it is. It's a quote. It's a quote from the Christmas movie, The Grinch.
Right.
Remember when Jim Carrey goes back, or he's the Grinch, and he goes back to his lair and he checks his outgoing messages? How dare you leave a message on this phone? I'll hunt you down and gut you like a fish. That's where it came from.
Right. Maybe if it would have had a Grinch picture versus a pirate, I don't know. I caught it. I thought it was kind of funny.
I did.
Right.
Obviously I did, but
Right. There is no hatred going on in our group. If you got nothing nice to say, Don't
No.
say it at all, or you will literally, that will be removed. You get like one warning and then you're out. Oh, sorry, I don't allow that. You call me the soup Nazi if you guys want to, because I'm like that. It's not happening.
Well, people should be able to figure out you're just having
You're
fun.
having fun.
Yeah.
Man, and that is a good thing to do. Humor is just an absolute medicine for the soul, guys. And I love it. I think that, that's awesome because you're always celebrating a holiday with your wonderful art. Sometimes we saw the elf,
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like Scrooge. I think he's hilarious. And I like it because he's so dark and nasty, but he ends up being good. So I mean it has a happy ending. I kind of like that.
Right. Well, it's interesting here too, because there are some like the Scrooge that you literally do, and that is the painting. And then there's some like this or others that you change for the holidays. So my question is do you actually paint those and then you have to like rework it after it's done?
Sure.
Okay. No, he's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the one. That's the one they accepted.
Really?
Yeah, that's the one they accepted, and she could pick either one. It didn't matter to me, but she took this one. Yeah, that's the one. She took this one.
So, okay, maybe because acrylic is a little bit more flat.
Yes.
And I'm looking at the wonderful texture that this one provides.
That's probably what it is. That's what I wanted to do, is give her an opportunity to see a couple different versions of it, and I picked one medium for one, at a different angle, and then another medium for the other one. Right. And this was more traditional, and I had a feeling she'd lean toward this one, but I wanted to give her a couple of, I wanted two options for her.
Right. I love it. I mean, they're really phenomenal. All of them are. We're going to see. They are absolutely just amazing. But I can just standing back, and I know acrylics, unless you're like, you can build up a texture, you can add some sheen to it. They do have some primers and some glosses and some, gloss mats or glazes that you can put on it. But oils are to become like this. And, you can see that already in here. Just really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I think they have completely different applications.
Right.
To me, that's me. Anyone else can, I mean, there are people that can do stuff with acrylic that I can't. And so, and that's fine. But, just find the medium that you like the best and that you're most, I don't use any medium. I honestly, I mean, I use oil color and I use acrylic, but I don't add anything to it other than, it's already got linseed or safflower oil or whatever it is. And, with acrylic, it's water, but I don't add any mediums to it. I keep it simple.
Right. And we are so different. This is what is so amazing about the differences of artists, because I use mainly oil and adding in just a tiny bit of pigment into it. And I build it through layers of glazing, as a lot of times I'm doing that. Depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing a person and I want to do a skin tone, layers and layers of this different kind of what I call glazing. But that's also, if I'm doing something textury like this, Bob's right. You want less and less of the medium in it, so that you can have that ability to have texture. Yes. But here's something interesting. And this is why we all have a different point of view. Cass likes the other one better than this one. Isn't that great?
I can appreciate that.
Right.
I can appreciate that. They're different. They're apples and oranges. Same subject. Same subject, and basically the same treatment. But I can understand that.
Right, and that's why we all get to.
There it is.
There it is. I told you we had it.
That's the one. That's the repaint of the acrylic one. This is still in acrylic, but it has more character than the original one did.
Right. Right. If you guys, real quick, I'm going to show you the original. Whoops, go the other way. That's the original. Right. But he decided I'm going to give it some more life, and voila. I mean, that is awesome. He's added the flag. He's added beautiful pumpkins. Look at the sky and the texture on that. Really kicked it up a few notches. And it is absolutely
I punched it up. It was just a little unhappy, and I made it happier.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just awesome. I really love the addition of the American flag, because when when we think of these old barns, I don't know about you guys, but this is something I always think of America. These old red barns are just scream America to me.
True.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, in that one. Right. Exactly. And so I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I've been a lot of places and I haven't been to Europe, but I'd have to look that up because I think that most of their barns and stuff, I think of, like castle-like stonework, things in beautiful in their own right, but not these wonderful red barns that just scream America.
Yeah, I think over here, I think we had, back there they built with what they had. And I think we kind of do the same thing here. We got more wood than stone. Well, you guys have more stone on your, end of the country than we do. There's not a lot of stone here. And
Right.
so you basically use what you have. And my understanding is the reason that they're red is that there's red ones and white ones, and it's basically just pigmentation. They were just looking for something to be able to cover the barn and try to keep it as preserved as they could. And red oxide was one of the most common things. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was basically rust with, mixed into oil, turpentine or oil. And that's how the red barn thing came around. And
Yeah.
they said the same thing about the white ones too, but
Mm-hmm.
especially the red ones. And so I think it's basically just materials that you have, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a necessity thing more than anything else. It's just
Right.
economy.
Right. They had a lot more ability to stain things, and whitewash was a huge thing, especially
Yes.
in poor families. You see these white picket fences that everyone kind of dreams about. They were all basically a whitewash. They wanted to
Yep.
clean it up and beautify it, but, didn't really have the finances to, do much more than that. But
Absolutely. Well, that's what who is it? Tom Sawyer.
Tom
He
Sawyer
conned
is what
all
I
of
was
his
going
friends
to
into
say.
painting the white fence for him.
Right. That's
Same,
right.
same thing.
That's exactly the story I was thinking about. Right. I'm like, right. He
Yep.
said they're whitewashing the fence. This is
Yep.
so
You're lucky to
gorgeous.
be able to paint my fence.
Do you even have a fence, Bob?
That was written way before my time.
Right. Right. Oh, you were repeating from the book. I'm like, oh, I thought you were being literal. I'm like, Bob, I don't
Oh
even imagine
no,
that's
no,
but that is
I
the book.
was saying what
That
Tom
is.
Sawyer was saying.
That's right. He quoted the book. Man, you're on it. I didn't even think about that until it took me a second. Awesome. Oh my gosh. We love these guys. Speaking of barns, and he's got so many, and each piece is so unique. And that's like what you said. Barns have a whole character to themselves,
They do.
Amazing.
I can't remember where this was. I think I saw it. I can't remember where it was. I think I stopped and took a photo of it. I can't remember exactly where it was. It was somewhere between here and the coast in California, someplace. And I was showing work at uh, Gallery West in Paso, and they were kind of a Heritage Gallery West. They were kind of a Western style thing, and I was like the only artist in there that wasn't really a Western painter, but I could paint barns, and so I paint barns, vineyards, beaches, stuff like that. Well, this one, I took this one over there, and the owner liked it, and they sold it pretty quick. And it's a simple painting. I mean, there's no real perspective to it or anything, but it has just it's a simple country statement, and people, it was pretty. People were happy with it. They got it.
This is so beautiful, though. It is just so bold. That against that muted, pastelish kind of background, right?
Yeah,
I just think that is amazing. Love the contrast on this.
yeah. It
And
was
just
kind of a sunrise. Kind of a
Mhm.
sunrise. Sun's not quite up yet. It's getting there.
That's right. But I love it. You got the hint of the trees and the fencing. You can all see this here too. Major brushstrokes going on in front in the land in the yard and stuff. Look at how beautiful those are. And I always love it too because it's multiple colors that create even all this from the yard, right, and the grasses in the field to the wonderful strokes and color in the barn. Because look at all the reds, and you got that, Dada. Man, red on red on red. Isn't that beautiful?
There's
That's what he
a
said.
lot of just like you said, a lot of variation. And
Mm-hmm.
you think of grass being green. Well, it's all different colors. Look
Yes,
at it, and add, expand on that. And that's what makes it interesting. If you just painted that all flat green, it would be boring. Same thing with the
wouldn't it?
barn. It's a red barn, but there's a lot of variation in color. It's all
Mhm.
bright. It's all
Right.
bright red, but there's still a lot of variation in color.
Well, you think about this. How many of us get away from the phones, go for a walk in nature? We've all learned this from you, many artists here to inspire us. And especially our photographers that come, Tri was just talking to us about literally, get outside and look around. But when you look into the forest, or you look into the grass, I remember when we moved from Arizona over here to the East Coast, the first thing my kids noticed, they're like, Mom, there's like 20 different shades of green in this grass. I was like, right?
Exactly.
I was like, that's my artist kids. I was always so proud that they noticed the differences. But when you're talking about, even if you paint this barn one solid color, that light is going to come start reflecting different colors off of it. And that's why you've added these different shades in there to highlight that.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Those, I tell you where I noticed this too is the old Italian buildings. Mm-hmm. Those things, there's so many layers of paint on those. And typically they repaint them the same color, but sometimes some of the old paint is starting to show through, and the surface of the buildings is so irregular from all the like centuries of being there. The character is just like popping out all over the place, and barns are like that.
That's right. Just amazing, and I agree. I think that's why, I see so much love and personality in each one of these. They're absolutely just phenomenal. Are we loving this, guys? Oh, you're so welcome. And again, like that's what he's saying. And it's not only the barn, but it's the territory around it as well, too, right? The landscape and the scenery. Because look at this. These trees are almost totally taking the show over the barn.
Actually, in this version of it, they did this. This is probably no more than maybe 5 miles from my house. And I parked on the side of the road, and I went through an orange grove to get up to this. It was like up against the foothills. And I wanted to take a photo of the foothills. Well, when I got back there, there was this cool barn there. And these big old gnarly eucalyptus trees. And I thought, man, this is awesome. Well, it was right at sunrise. And this was what I was seeing. It was the sun was coming up, and so I got like 3 or 4 shots of this. And then the owner's dog figured out I was there, and he chased me down through the orange grove. I had to leave. He didn't catch me though.
No, he didn't.
No, I was just fast enough.
That is so awesome, though. What a nice surprise!
It was. It was. I think I painted this barn probably 8 times, and I think I have 2 still, or maybe 1. No, I think I only have 1 left. But anyway, they're just, barns are fun.
Yes,
and people love their personalities.
Right.
I gotta paint barns because I can't paint faces.
That's really good. Maybe that's why I paint planets.
Yeah. You got to paint what you're good at.
Right. You're like, okay, yeah. I mean, I try, guys. I do abstract. It's just faces. I mean, I'm like, okay on certain things, but yeah, I have a lot easier time painting what I'm more comfortable with. And, and it shows. Your barns are just phenomenal, but it's more than that, guys. Look at the ground and all those textures and colors in them. Look at the trees. Just kind of, you can see it's in motion and swaying in the wind. I don't know what this is, but almost looks like a weeping willow, the way it's just dropping, those are down. It's just so beautiful.
Those are eucalyptus.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
That front one just kind of, maybe because it's in motion and you can see
it does have a sweeping kind of look to it. And eucalyptus can look like that. Not quite like a willow, but eucalyptus has a real mottly bark. At least the ones out here in California. I don't know. There's probably a million types of them. But they have a real mottly bark, and they have a real kind of a wispy, curved, almost like a cashew-shaped leaf, and it catches the wind. And so you're right in sensing wind in the trees, because it was like that.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely phenomenal. Just a huge shout out. Thank you so much, Hockey. I love you, girl. Donating to the show. Thank you so much.
All right.
Right. She says, thank you, Bob and Lady H. This is just absolutely light and love. She's enjoying this so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This is what we love to do here. That's right. Bringing you some beauty in this world. Amazing. Love this. Oh, this was so great. You guys, I get so excited on each piece. I hope you guys see that. But I'm like, oh, this is the night scene. And again, it's kind of like that first one that you said was they thought was too dark and it had that beautiful blues and purples and so
Oh
forth.
yes.
This is the same reaction for me. I'm like, oh, I love these dark colors. I'm like, woo. And then the pops of the light, because isn't this like a barn celebration?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it is. And this one, this is the same group, the same two people that rejected the landscape that you liked.
Right.
They sold this one.
Oh my gosh.
The same people, same two people. But this one, here's one. This is a perfect example. I tried to reproduce this one.
Right.
Couldn't do it. I tried.
Really?
Yeah, I did a slightly different version of it, but they sold this one. I don't know. It was pretty quick. It was within, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks, something like that. It was fairly quick.
Fast.
Sometimes it can hang around for 6 months and not sell, and sometimes it never sell. But this one did, and then I painted another version of it. They liked it, but they couldn't sell it. So it's just
crazy?
one of those things. Yeah.
You know, and something maybe like you said, because it's very hard to reproduce. First of all, the energy, the colors. You might be missing a little something. I don't know. It's really hard to reproduce the same exact.
A lot of times, I think it's just right place, right time, and the right pair of eyeballs. I mean, a lot of times I've had success with just little local galleries. They put them in the window, and they're illuminated at night. And people and this is like in resort areas, they'll walk by, after dinner, they're walking by to go get in their car and go home, and they see it in the window, and they'll come back and buy it the next day.
Yeah.
And so exposing it to people, because there are times when the gallery's closed, they're not going in, but they can walk by the front of it and see the paintings. If they're in the front, they could be, you're still selling paintings even when the gallery's not open.
Right.
So they did a really good job with that.
That's exactly right. When I had my restaurants, guys, I would often invite artists in here too. And there's a lot of times I had big open windows, but at night they were kind of bay windows. So I would put up and use easels and whatever, and put up a few just to highlight. We got a brand new artist in there as well. But you're right. And people are really smart, whether you're a gallery or a business or a restaurant, and you're trying to promote this, because you're missing half the crowd. People are going out at night. They see that, and I think that's a brilliant idea.
I
love this piece so much. Love the coloring in this piece so much. It's just so beautiful. I would be one of those, be like, yep, I love it. Love everything about it.
It was fun to paint. I do remember painting it. It was fun.
So when do you know, like, okay, that piece is not going anywhere, it's time to rework this? How long do you normally would wait on that?
Oh, as far as how long it's in a gallery?
No. Let's say you have a piece and it's just not moving, or it's not going anywhere. You're not got any buyers or something. So how long do you say, okay, I'm going to rework this and let's see if I can do something different?
That's a tough question. I wish I had a good answer for that. Some of them I just set aside, and I'll let them sit for 2 or 3 years, forget about them, drag them back out, rework them, and they come out better than they were before. Or I've had some of them. I tried 5 times to paint a stupid boat. It was a stupid boat at Morro Bay all by itself. I tried 5 times I repainted that thing 5 times.
Wow.
Could never get it to where I wanted it. Finally just coated it with white latex paint and threw it in the trash. So, I mean, there's a whole spectrum there. Sometimes you can bring them around and tighten and make them just exactly what you want. And other times you just got to pull the plug. And
can I volunteer for the ones that you're about ready to throw in the trash? Just to be like, okay, I'll take those before they go in the trash.
That's but every artist has their own discretion there. They think, okay, this one's got to go. And I've had that happen. That happens a lot. I mean, you might have, I don't know, you paint 100 paintings. You might have like 5 of them that you just cannot bring in for a landing. But that's a tough question as far as when to quit and when to quit working on them. That's tough. Right. And it's frustrating if it's a subject really well. That's really frustrating.
And I am thinking of one of your boats that I really love so much. I think I've highlighted you in so many pieces, but it's just the one sailboat, and it's kind of caught. almost it's not an ochre, but it's almost this peachy whatever kind of background to ochre. It's really gorgeous, and I love that one just by itself. So I don't know, but Frosty says thing. We've all been there. I just admitted earlier during a paint and sip live on air, I was like, I'll be back in just a few minutes. You guys watch the other artists. I went and literally washed, thank heavens with acrylic. I went and washed off the entire canvas. I'm like, nope, not happening. I'm not feeling it. It's not turning out right. It's gone.
You know what? Trust your instinct.
That's right.
That's the main thing. Trust your instinct. If it ain't happening, don't, if you've given it your best and it ain't happening, don't waste any more time on it. Move on. Just exactly like what you did. That's a good thing.
That's right. You know, it's funny is I've done these certain things when I was going through this emotion set that I had in series. They were for a purpose and they were in galleries and they did that. But there are a few I've thought about reworking. And I am not really a fan of AI artists that are claiming they're AI artists and saying, hey, look at my work per se, up against somebody like you. Right. I'm like, really? Did you create that? But when you are thinking of an inspiration image or you might want to rework your image, I just did one of my pieces and said, I'd like to add 2 eyes to this and let's make the hair a little bit different. How would you change this piece? And it came back with a few different options that I thought, interesting, because I'm like, I don't want to really lose this beautiful blue and the drippiness and the whatever. Her eyes were crystal and I don't want to mess that up. And it gave me an option. It literally just gave me another eye to that and made me rethink the image. I was like, okay, I see that now. It is interesting.
I've never tried that.
It was like just recently I said, I'm going to give this a try because I don't really use that too much, but I see others that are going there and coming up with amazing inspiration images. So I just uploaded one of my paintings and go, hey, make their hair softer and add another eye. And that's all it did. I was like, wow, it changed the whole piece. I was like, that was really interesting. So you guys, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Oh, look at the texture on this one. Wow.
This one has been reworked multiple times and it finally got to the point where it had some character. Now this one has a lot of knife in it.
I see that.
Yeah, wow. It has a lot of knife in it. I've worked it with brush. I probably painted maybe 2 or 3 versions of this. And it wasn't giving me the rustic feel that I wanted. So finally, I spread it out as far as tone wise. I wasn't getting the range that I wanted. So I dropped the tone down on the back side of the barn and on the right side and also in the tree line. And that forced the textures of the front part of the barn to pop out. And so it was just a matter of adjusting the tonal range. The structure of it was fine as it was. And then I fattened up the texture with the knife, and it landed just about right. Had enough range in the foliage to be of interest, and it has a lot of interest in the roof and the side of the barn. So I had some fun with this one.
Oh my gosh, that is just really awesome. I love it too. You guys, you were talking about palette knife work before, but this one is a great example of this too. Another thing a lot of you guys I've seen you do is like you will build it up with some acrylic and texture and whatever, let that dry and then build up your oil pieces on top of it. Another, great idea I've learned from some of you others. But Look at this. It is phenomenal. The buildup, like you guys are pointing out here, is just fantastic.
Yeah, he's fun. This one's called Still Standing. And so he's seen a lot, but he's still there.
They say this is a scary barn.
I don't blame him. I don't. Maybe he's afraid it's going to fall. Oh, it's a spooky barn. Oh, okay. Wow, that's an element.
I didn't see that either. I've seen your spooky barns, and I'm like, I don't know. That's funny.
Now it's bright. It's bright daylight. You'll be safe. You'll be just fine.
Because I've seen some of yours. Your other ones that are more of a darker theme. You got a little light in the back.
If it's dark, that's a different thing right there.
Right. I have seen that. That's so
cool.
Funny, guys.
That's funny.
I didn't think this at all. But yeah, you guys need to see his other work because he's got some that almost are like some, I've seen your castles on a cliff that are scary. I've seen your barns that look like you could have something hanging from those windows. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Happy here. Oh, before we get started here, let me tell you guys, I wore my sailor sweater, right? Even got my navy buttons right here because I knew we were going on a wonderful trip to the wonderful city of Venice tonight.
This is another reject.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a reject. It's Cassis. It's Cassis, France. And I thought I was very pleased. This is not a very good photo of it. It's better than that. I was very pleased with it. I thought this had a lot of, it has a lot of atmosphere. It's kind of linear and it's a little bit as far as perspective, it's a little bit flat, but it has enough character in it as far as lighting. I thought it pulled it off pretty well, and I like the water and everything. I got the double comatose stare on this one. I mean, I had it beautifully framed, and I wasted my time taking it over there.
Oh,
so anyways, yeah, this was a reject.
I am sorry, but I'm telling you, I don't know. I hate to call people, they're doing drugs, but I'm wondering now if these people are on drugs.
Well, they've become friends of mine, and they the ones they picked, they did pretty good job. But this one got the 2 thumbs down from Hiskel and Ebert. 2 thumbs down.
Holy cow. You're lighting up the chats with this. I told you guys we were going to go on a journey today at the very beginning. Did I not say France, Italy, and Greece? I'm telling you, look at this. You're lighting up every possible chat we have here on all 4 channels with this one, Bob. So,
they feel sorry for me because it got rejected.
No, I highly doubt that. I told you before you even told me that this is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was rejected. Wow. But I liked it. I thought it came out good. But that's that subject matter, that the light in that area of the world is just unbelievable. It is just so beautiful, that southern part of France. This is a little more toward Spain and a little less toward Italy. More toward Italy is where the Côte d'Azur is and all the hoi polloi, Monte Carlo and all that stuff. But this is a little more towards Spain. But the lighting is just phenomenal. The water there and the lighting is just absolutely beautiful.
That's what I was saying. I love the water. I love the buildings though too, guys. Look at how beautiful they are on the coast. But that water is also phenomenal, right? And look at it's bouncing off into the sky, and the sky is bouncing off into the water. It is just really a great piece. Everything about it. So we love the rejects, I guess. You found your people. I'll tell you that.
I painted it and I liked it. So it's kind of like, well, okay.
Right. It's absolutely amazing. Have you actually been here?
What's that?
Have you actually been to this spot?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. This is painted from a photo that I took.
Oh, yes. Wow. This is why we all just need to sneak in his suitcase, right? Or we just all need to plan a European tour. I'm telling you, we need to take Artist Corner on a European tour, everyone.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what's funny? We weren't even supposed to go to this place. We were in Marseille. We were supposed to go to Arles because I wanted to see where Vincent's yellow house.
Oh, nice.
And the taxi guy, we got in the taxi and the guy says, well, he says, I got to tell you, he says, the road, there's so many detours. The roads are so torn up. You're going to spend half your day in the taxi. And I said, well, I don't want to do that. And what do you suggest? He goes, just go over to Cassis. It's beautiful over there. That's how we ended up here.
Wow.
It was just like that.
Wow. Amazing. I mean, I've not been to any. I've been to Ernest Hemingway's house in Cuba. That's about,
Wow. I would love to do that.
That was really fun. But no, I've not been. See, that's funny. I've never been to Europe. I've been to Africa. I have 2 countries in Africa. I've been to Australia.
Africa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, Ireland, the United Kingdom, but I would love to go to Europe, that's on my bucket list. So that's why I see your pictures of like Greece, especially. I'm like, oh man, would I love to go.
I've never been to Greece. So I can't, I paint it, but I just don't know. I would just love that in Croatia, that whole Adriatic area, Venice, that whole Adriatic area is so intriguing, so much history.
I agree. I think that's one of the reasons I want to go.
Well, we have something in California that's 250 years old, and we treat it like it's, it's from the time of Moses. So I mean, we see stuff this old is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's just that's one of the reasons. I mean, I loved when I was in New York for the buildings because they were 100 years old. I even stayed in one of the oldest buildings in my dorms. Right, it was really really beautiful, and I love it. I love the architecture because that's something we just don't see anymore. We see cookie cutters, housing or whatever, right, and so you just don't even see that. And so, yeah, I've also saw the Fortaleza de San Carlos in Havana. It's 400 years old,
Oh
everyone.
my
So
God.
it's like, right, when you see these things, and so that's what you think when you think of Europe, right? You're like, these things are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. Well, usually hundreds and hundreds. You might be lucky to see something that old. But,
Exactly.
the Colosseum and so forth are pretty old. But it's just so much history as well. These things are hand built that we just don't see. I mean, they're too busy putting up things as fast as they can and as plain as they can, now. And so
Very true.
bring
Very
back
true. Or
architecture.
like Marseille, we think of, Marseille, France. That was old when the Romans got there.
Right,
It predates the Romans.
right. I just love it. Yep. And I see you guys are like, you're ready. You got your bags packed. Hey, one of these days, Artist Corner, we're going to hit Italy or Greece. I think that should be on a bucket list. I'm glad you guys are putting that in the chat. They're like, yeah, oh, I would love that. Wouldn't we love that? Bring your art stuff,
Oh my
guys.
gosh.
We're going to go.
Europe would
That's
never be the same.
But that's kind of my bucket list plan. Like when I'm old, I just want to die on the coast of someplace in Italy or Greece, just sitting there painting, drinking some wine and painting. It really is like my ultimate dream. I don't
That
think I'll
would
have
be that would be fun, huh? What a
Yeah,
way to go.
I know. This is so phenomenal. I love this piece too. My gosh.
Windows and doors. I love to think about what took place. I mean, who watched out those windows? Who walked in and out of those doors? That whole city. Now, I've never been to Venice, so I've got
Right,
friends that have, but I haven't. So I've just that whole city is almost unbelievable. That they basically it was a mud marsh and they pounded a bunch of wood pegs in the mud and built a city, and it became one of the most rich cities in the world for centuries. It was, and
right.
it's so much. It just intrigues me, and the antiquity of it, and all the variation and all the experiences that took place there. And that I love old windows, old doors, and I always think about who went in and out of them, who saw what out of them.
Right.
I just find that so intriguing.
Oh, I agree. I mean, and then some of these you're really lucky to see some masterwork and stained glasses on top of it. They're just masterpieces in their own right. I've never been to these places either, only seen them in pictures and images and books and history classes, that we've taken. But I mean, wouldn't just love to be there. And that's another thing too, these bright, beautifully bold colors, everything is really unique,
Yes.
as unique as the doors and the windows are.
Absolutely. Can you imagine, just on the mechanical side, can you imagine the maintenance that goes into one of these? And it's
Oh,
my understanding that there's a lot of these buildings that are empty now.
really?
Yep. There are very few people that live in Venice now. They mostly live on the mainland, and but the tourism is just phenomenal. And there and it'll be they're always saying it's sinking and all that. It's going to be fine. Just keep the big don't be floating those gigantic cruise ships down the Grand Canal and making big waves. It'll be fine. It'll be there. It's been there
Right?
for what? Almost 100 1,500 years or whatever it is. It'll be
Right?
fun.
Right. I wonder if the people are reasoning maybe because the upkeep of these older buildings to keep them in such pristine condition is expensive.
I
I'm
think
kind of
that's a big part of it. And
right.
I just by the way, that is a water reflection. It's where the canal is. There's a canal in there.
Hmm.
And so those little waterways, those walkways are places where you would row a boat up to and get out and go into it. So
Yeah.
it's not a wet street. It's actually water. It's like the little canals. But
Yes.
someplace I read that there are on those little islands, and it's a group of islands all smashed together. There's 1,000 bridges in Venice. And you try to search it, and some say they don't even know exactly how many there are. It's somewhere between 800 and 1,000 some odd. They don't even know how many bridges there are. That's how many there are in that. It's a little island city. but
Right.
it's, it's one of a kind. There's no other city on the earth like it.
That's right. That's why I set our timer at the beginning of the show to Venice, because it kind of just shows you everything is a boat to somewhere. It's just amazing. I mean, I'm sure they have like the center, but usually it is. You're taking like boat or a gondola or something to an entranceway. Most of your hotels and things like that, that's how they want to take you in there. That's part of the experience as well. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
This is an explosion of beautiful. I'll tell you.
Thank you. It was fun to paint. These are really fun to paint.
Yes, yes. And thank you, because this is what I mean about some of your artwork, right? You guys, we get to, and this is what I love. I get to go on this journey that I've never been to Italy. I've never been to Greece yet, but I can go and visit that just by, diving myself into this piece of art. And we love you, Bob, for a multiple of reasons, but that's one of them.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Look at this.
This is another reject.
Oh my gosh. Was this the night of the rejects, guys?
Yeah. I tried to get this one in a gallery, and it just didn't happen.
I just don't get it. I don't know.
Well,
wow.
I don't either. But
Another one of my favorites.
The reason I wanted to add these in is that sometimes I just don't want people to be discouraged if they think they produced one of the best paintings they've ever made, and it might not get the acceptance that it gets. That's the only reason I included these, is that I don't care what level of artist you are, you're going to deal with rejection, and you just plow right straight through it. Don't let them stop you. Don't let them steal it. You keep going. That's what you do.
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm telling you, and it's everyone to each their own. I made this kind of, thing before, and I've seen, like the banana with the duct tape, and people are like, ooh, I mean, I even saw a post where somebody had left their glasses on the floor, and everybody's like, ooh, what does this mean? I mean, there are some really weird people out there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Not everybody likes everything, but there is a person out there that's going to love it. And we have a whole group and a whole bunch of you guys in the chat right now going, oh my gosh. So don't be discouraged, because you might say the museum doesn't like this, but that does not mean that there's not somebody that's going to love this.
That's true. It's really about getting it, in front of the right people, the right pair of eyeballs. Because I'm telling you what, there's somebody out there for everybody's artwork. There really is. There is, right. and it's it's challenging, and you can get sidetracked and stuff like that. But it's, how long did this painting take? Oh gosh, I never really think about that. I would say it's probably 20 hours, something like that. Probably, I would say 3 or 4 hours a day for maybe off and on for 4 or 5 days, something like that. It's a 36 by 48. It's a good size canvas.
Yeah, and you're working with oils, you guys. So oils are not like acrylics where they can just dry really fast too, because you don't want to muddy up your painting. Sometimes you literally have to step away because you're like, okay, we don't want to go any further at this moment. So it could be days or weeks or months to get something done.
It can, and it could be years. Keep in mind, Leonardo hauled the painting of the Mona Lisa. He hauled that thing around for 4.5 years, and he traveled. He took it with him, and it took him a long time to create that.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I mean, he would tell you that a painting is never finished; it's only abandoned. So just keep that in mind. You wouldn't believe the rejection El Greco went through. He almost got run out of the country by the king of Spain. The king of Spain did not like his color usage, and he almost got run out. Right. El Greco actually at one point is rumored, I can't confirm it, but he is rumored to have volunteered to repaint the Sistine Chapel when the cardinals and the popes were offended by the nudity. Wow. Now, can you imagine, as great as El Greco is, repainting the Sistine Chapel ceiling? I mean, that is pretty amazing. Look how many times Michelangelo came down the scaffold and stomped off.
Right.
He left that thing half finished a dozen times.
Right.
He fired all of his assistants. The Pope tracked him down, almost had him thrown in prison. I mean, so stay with it. Don't let one set of eyeballs or one judge knock you off the track.
Michelangelo was also busy, right, doing some other things down in the basement. Like, we got to figure out anatomy. We got to
Well, yeah, now that is true.
right. But I don't know. But he did. He had a temperament. I mean, at least I'm knowing that I am not the world's slowest painter because I do glazing, right? And so it takes weeks, depending on how fast it might dry in the air, or how if it's humid, forget it. It might be weeks until that layer dries. I feel like the world's slowest painter, but there is the madness to my method. But there are some things I love that there are paintings that probably are never done. They're just you got to get a certain point where you're like, okay, it's good enough to go and be sold and be viewed. Or, you might drive yourself mad. But that's awesome.
That's true. That's true. And that's back to the question, when do you quit? That is such a tough one.
Right.
Leonardo said you never really finish, you just quit. And so it's in essence, so it's that's a tough call. But I would rather see a slightly unfinished painting than an overpainted painting. That's just me though. Everybody gets to make their own call on that, but I'd rather see it slightly underfinished than overfinished. Mm-hmm. And because you can smash the life right out of something really easy.
I agree. Because our eyes are going to fill in things and put in our own imagination. Mm-hmm. When something's kind of overworked, it's like, okay, I'm looking at just smudgy here, and it might be too much. So you guys, again, you do you, but I agree with you. I agree with you. 1 second. That would be great. Yes. Hockey, that would be great. I'm just letting her know. It would be really fun. You guys are still talking about a get together. Hey, you know how to reach me. You guys want to help me organize it? You let me know. I love this piece, Bob. And I see that we lit up the world. All right.
Thank you.
My gosh. Love this. I have a fondness for your boats as well. Just saying, you do really amazing boats. I just want to jump on one and go, let's go.
This one is 16 by 20. And again, it's a Venice scene, and it is all completely alla prima. It was all painted like probably within an hour and a half. It was just one of those that just came together really quick. And I left it sketchy, because all the buildings, all the composition, all the color contrast, the tonal contrast, everything worked really fast and I'll tell you honestly, the real reason a longtime professional painter, oil painter, shot the photograph and gave it to me. And if I told you I don't have permission to tell you her name, but if you Googled her name, her paintings would show up everywhere. She was the one that shot this. And the thing I'm most proud of in this whole thing is that bridge, mm-hmm. the underside of arch, that's all one brush stroke.
Wow. Don't you love it?
Well, sometimes even when you're my age, you get your synchronization working just right, and you're able to do something all in one shot. I figured, okay, well, what's the worst? You repaint it. Mm-hmm. And it's all one brush stroke all the way across, and it starts on one side.
Right.
You can see where it's brighter on the bottom right.
Right.
And then it fades off onto the left side. So it's an arc. And that was the part, as weird as that sounds, that was the part I was happiest with. But I like the spontaneity of it. That's what I was aiming at.
I can understand that. I mean, again, back to kind of some planets, like when I'm doing a full circle planet of moon or whatever, and if I can get that whole thing in one stroke before I go back in and fill it out, I get so nervous about that. I pre-draw it, I'm out there with bowls and making sure so I can kind of stay in the lines, even though I don't really stay in the lines, but just kind of give me that confidence. But I can totally understand when you nail that with one stroke and you're like, look at how beautiful and clean this is. You get really super excited.
That is fun. There's windows that have single strokes in them too. Those little green windows on the right side there, and the darker building on the right side there, those are the same way. And so it was one of those that just had that spontaneity to it, and that's what it really was aiming at. It was fun to paint, but like I said, the composition and the light contrast and everything, it was all there because she just had, she has the supreme artist eye, and she just nailed it. So it was like, it was a real layup to paint. You just have to do the execution of it.
And it's just amazing. I can't believe that you were able to get this done so quickly. Isn't that interesting? How some take forever, and then some are like, "Whoop, we're
Yes,
done in a couple hours. We're out."
yes, yeah. Some come in for a landing real quick, and some just, oh my gosh, some
Right.
don't. It's just the way it is. I don't think any. I think all artists experience that to some degree. I don't think there's, and it's a lot like the like Willem
Mhm.
de Kooning and a couple of those other ones, abstract expressionist guys. It looks like it took them like 20 minutes to do it, and there's
Right.
video of them taking like a half an hour just to make one big old fat brush stroke right exactly where they want it. And it
Wow.
looks like it happened really quick when
Right.
it was an absolute agonizing labor to figure out exactly where they wanted that thing to go.
Wow.
So
And I think it's depending on, like, sometimes our mood or health or whatever, artists, because we're always on our feet, and doing all kinds of things. But I can remember, again, coming back from Cuba, I was really happy to be back home, and just like everybody should go to a communist country, to really understand and love the freedoms we have. But sometimes you don't have words for things. So I took out one of my big 36 by 48 canvases, which I normally never finish, and without at least a week, depending if not weeks. And in just a few hours, I was able to do the Patriot. And I know you guys have all seen it.
wow.
We've got the red, white, and blue and the star in her mouth, because I had no words. I had no words to express my gratitude for the freedoms that we have here. And so I was like, and I had a great time in Cuba. I loved it there, but there's still a strict rule of law there, and you're like, people really need to understand this. So you couldn't write it, so I painted my emotions, and that's so I understand when you can whip out some, but that's about the fastest I've done is one day. This is phenomenal.
So
Absolutely.
sometimes it happens like that, and you have to you have to be patient with the process and be thankful when it you know happens the way you want it to so quickly.
Right.
It's almost like you almost wish it was still going. Like you enjoy the experience, and so sometimes you get to look at it, so you get to relive it a little bit. But you got to enjoy the process and be happy when it works the way you want it to.
Right. Do you ever have a day where you feel like, okay, it's just not going to happen? It's going to take me hours, or maybe it does take you hours to get all set up, but your mood's not quite in the right space?
Yes, but yes, short answer. But I am by nature a glass half full person. And I'm one of those
Nice.
knuckleheads that will goof around out there. I paint outside. I paint outside in natural light. I'll goof around out there pulling weeds or doing something dumb, but I'm thinking about the painting.
Right.
And I'm just getting yourself connected to the earth is important. That is like going for a walk. Getting yourself reconnected to the earth is to nature is very important. And so sometimes I'll spend 20 minutes, but that 20 minutes is worth more than 2 hours of struggling. And so you get yourself in the gear that you need to be in. Your time on that canvas is going to be more efficient.
Right. I understand that. And especially if you're always working outside, you're limited to weather too, because if there's any kind of storms or whatever, you're not painting that day.
Well, actually, I do.
Do you
My
really?
Yeah, my area it's
Covered.
basically just my outdoor patio area, but it has a northern exposure, and it's
Oh,
it's pretty deep. It's like 15 feet deep, and it's about 50 feet long. So
oh
it's a
wow.
big space, and so it's pretty well protected. Oh, I've been painting out there in some pretty hairy. I've had paintings go flying right off the easel.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
oh yeah.
Well,
I've had them land face down on the sidewalk, and oh boy, oh yeah, I've experienced that. I don't get a
oh
whole
my
lot of that.
gosh. Well, you're already lighting up the chats on this one, and we haven't even talked about it, everybody, but I'm glad that you are commenting already. We're getting everyone, wow. Everybody has the same reaction, right? I've gotten 4 wows on this piece.
You know what? I painted this about I don't know what the date is. I bet I painted this 15 years ago and they've never shown it. So this is the first time I've even published it.
Really?
I don't
On
know
my
why.
show.
I don't
I'm so
know.
honored.
Yeah,
This is
it
gorgeous.
is. I think I posted it on your on Truth here about what 3 or 4 days ago, and I think it's the
Did
first
you?
time I've ever. posted it anywhere.
I do not remember seeing this, and I don't know, you either caught me
Yeah,
on a really
no, I
bad
think
day.
that's where you. I think that's. Oh, now wait a minute. Maybe not. No, I'm pretty sure I did. But then I
Okay,
sent it to you as well. So, but
okay.
yeah, this was just a fun one. I really had fun with this one. All the color juxtaposition and stuff like that. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my heavens. There's so many things I love about this, so many things. But I love that not everything is in clear, defined detail. You already know that there's buildings in the back, but the bridge is in amazing detail, defined detail. And you've got the wonderful ships and the look amazing windows. But it's just so much fun. And whatever's going on with this water and coast is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was fun to paint. I did a little bit of Fauvist kind of action with this one. I wanted it to have a little bit of extra color definition, and it turned out fun.
Oh my heavens. And that's amazing, everyone. Absolutely amazing. I am so glad you guys are loving this. Full of bright color, lots of fun. And a lot of us too, this is another example. I've said this before, not all water has to be blue. There's a lot of other colors and reflections of light. And depending on the time of day, our water, is a lot like white, for instance. You're going to bounce all different kinds of colors and moods off of this. And I think
That's
that is
exact.
great.
That's exactly correct. That's
Amazing.
exactly. It's a lot like air. It's denser and it's all that good stuff. But as far as light quality, it has a life of its own. You know how it is. You could be at the beach and especially in the morning and in the afternoon and evening, that watercolor that could be 50 shades of color in it, and it changes by the minute. So
Mm-hmm.
the water definitely reflects your mood. There's no question about that. So the sky and the water have to be simpatico as far as their attitude and how they feel about how they mesh together.
Man, this is just awesome. We love it so
Thank
much. I mean, right, guys? I mean, this is where we need to all meet. I want to go here today.
now I couldn't possibly tell you which bridge that was. I have no idea.
So we can't go here today. But don't you all want to just? Then that's the great thing about artwork is we can just literally just sit back, close our eyes, and imagine us being in that spot, walking on that bridge, and just enjoying that moment of life. So beautiful. Oh
It was
man,
fun. That one was fun to paint. It really was.
phenomenal. Oh, the umbrella. Okay. You gave me a comment in the email about umbrellas, but here we are. I can't remember what you said to me in the email, but
I accidentally stuck this one in there.
oh,
The subject was Venice,
okay.
and this is Vernazza.
Oh,
I goofed up.
I don't care. This is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Some
This is
countryside
another one.
cafe.
Well, yes, this is
Nice.
another one that was shot by the artist, that my artist friend, and there was absolutely nothing that needed to be changed as far as composition. The angle that she shot it at was perfect, and it was so much fun to paint. And this one was a pretty quick one too. Now this one's painted over another couple of paintings, so there was textural effect already there. So when you do that kind of thing, you have to make sure you use extremely bold brushwork over the top of it, because you
Right.
don't want something telegraphing through that distracts from the subject. So you got to be kind of careful of that. But usually you can whichever way you're going to repaint it, you want to make sure that the part that has the most dense um, compositional element, you want that toward the bottom, because that way you can fatten up your brushstrokes and such. In other words, you wouldn't want heavily textured sky and thin
Right.
underneath the umbrellas. You want the heavy textured stuff underneath the umbrellas. And it was fun. It was a snap to paint. This one, I don't know. I would say this one was probably maybe 2.5 hours. I think it was two sessions of about maybe less than an hour. Two sessions of less than an hour in 2 days. But it
Wow.
was it was a lot of fun to paint.
Right? I'm just like, I am just in love with these umbrellas. Aren't you guys? That big, bright, look at the blue one, especially. I'm just like, look at that blue. It's so amazing. So much fun. Now, I want to say, were you here? Were you sitting in this cafe? If not,
No,
don't we? No, but we want to be sitting in this
I
cafe.
I would love to claim I was. Absolutely.
Right? Oh, somebody take me away. I totally need a European vacation. I'm telling you. I that's one of the reasons I've always wanted to go to France, besides, of course, going to see the Louvre, is to literally sit and sip a wonderful espresso. Well, that's Italy per se. I'm sure they have great coffee, French roast or something in France, and just be able to sit there and, people watch and enjoy, because all the cafes really are, they have stuff on the inside from what I've seen, but they really have the outside experience.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Vernazza is unique in that, and it's one of the Cinque Terre cities. It's the one that has probably the most natural harbor, and
Oh,
it's kind of like a horseshoe shape. And from the train, you can look down onto it, and
right.
it is really phenomenal. And I have never been to Vernazza. I've been to Portofino, but I've never actually been to Vernazza. I've not been there. So,
Right.
But June had been there, so she sent me the photo, and she said somebody needs to use these, and I said I'd be glad to. So
Right.
that's how this popped up.
Absolutely phenomenal. I hate to, because I really did have a beautiful time, but Cuba has got so age to it. Like, I went to the beaches and stuff, and Adelaide and whatever in Australia and stuff. But I guess Cuba really tries to hone in that older thing. Their cars are still back in the 50s. Their buildings are hundreds of years old. So you have these kind of experiences where you have these beautiful little cafes, and they might have the bright colored umbrellas, but I mean, that's the closest I've ever got to an experience like this. And it's so nice to be unplugged, enjoy great food, wonderful weather, and, history and architecture. Just
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, these buildings, man, they go way back there. That's one of the reasons I want to go to Croatia. I can't remember. Is it Dubrovnik? I can't remember. One of them has one of the Roman emperor's homes in it, and it was like blocks and blocks, and people actually live inside the. Is it Hadrian? No, it's not Hadrian. I can't remember which one it is. Pompey? I can't remember. It was one of them. But they actually live inside of a palace that was owned by a Roman emperor. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, wouldn't you love it?
Oh my gosh.
I want to go up to the Highlands, and there's the Hamilton Palace. I mean, hey, I can prove that my husband's related. I'm like, can we not just have a piece of that?
Absolutely. I don't know that I think part of my family came from England and
Right.
Scotland,
Wouldn't it be great?
I don't think I'm too much Irish. If it was, they kicked my family out of England and made them go live in Ireland. I don't think I have no honor there, I think.
Right. Oh, I don't know either. But I really am. And maybe you guys, it might take us a year or two to plan something like this, but I think we should. Why the country and the world is pretty at ease. Well, in some areas are. This would be really a fun thing to do. But I love it. You guys are taking us away. And I agree with you, Dada. He says espressos for everyone. Yes, please. You love bridges, I think, as much as you love barns.
They're fun to paint. Each one is unique. They have a unique character to it. I cannot remember the name of this one. It starts with an O, and it's too fancy of a name for me. I can't remember it, but I love the way it looked. I love the perspective of it, and the little cafe on the left side there with the sunlight coming in onto the bridge. And I cannot remember the name of it, but it's one of the 1,000+ bridges of Venice. I wish I could tell you what the name was. I just don't recall what the name is. That's a 16 by 20.
Okay, so a bridge in Venice, and it starts with an O?
I think so.
Okay. Let me see.
Or it has an O in it.
It's a Ponte de Ozio?
That's it.
Okay. Told you I'd find it.
No wonder I couldn't remember it.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
I can remember lasagna, spaghetti, usobuco, ricey beasy. I can remember those.
The important stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Why the small stuff? Life's too short.
There we go, guys. I am quick on the draw here,
That's
everyone.
it. Wow, look at you. Wow, good job.
Is awesome. This is fantastic. And oh, hey, Shelly, welcome, my friend. Right. Oh, hey, HR Shaw joined us. Thank you. Yeah, you are here for at least a few more fantastic pieces. Thank you, Shelly and HR, for joining us. Love it. Absolutely love it. Man, so cool.
Well, welcome aboard.
That's right. Frosty says this is his favorite. You haven't seen them all, Frosty, but maybe this one is. I mean, we
nice.
have,
Thank you.
We have seen most of these in the group. This is another reason why if you're not in Artist Corner and you just want to go through a journey and like, share, and follow each other, we won't mind. I love to start my day and get in there and this is what I see, right? Examples of all of your guys' amazing talents. And I'm like, what? Like, awesome. Okay, what piece of crap am I going to post today? Because I don't want to go up against this. No, I don't care. I still post mine.
If you painted a lot of them, you can go digging into the boneyard. And you can pull one out from a long ways back there.
And I've been working on that like crazy. Haven't you noticed? I'm like, we're going way back Wednesdays, or hey, I want you guys to find I've been working on different themes. Others were talking to me about the 3-thing object in one painting. And they're like, that was really a great idea. I go, how it gave us a different ability to look at our artwork and go, okay, what has 3 of the same things in it, right?
That was a fun one.
Thank you.
Whoever it was actually came up with that one. That was a really good idea.
I was looking for different themes for Thursdays, and that popped up when I was, Googling things. I go, that's a really fun thing.
Because it really was.
Right. As an artist, it made us look at our artwork going, oh, wait, what do I have that? And that's fun. I love it. I love to keep you guys on your toes.
I love the change up in themes. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I'm trying because, we get so many new members. And we're also sharing these on X with a lot of people don't have seen us either, right? And we've got so many new members. Remember the day, Bob, when we were 35 people, right? We've got 668 people in our group now. I promise you they have not seen your work, especially your older ones, right? Even from year 2021 when we first started the group, they haven't seen these. So if I can encourage you guys to dig those out and show them, I hear that in the comments. You guys might not see a lot of the comments, but I see like I've never seen this one. I've never seen this one. So I'm working on
we gotta fix that.
I'm working on it. Oh, look at the blues. Love these soft blues in this. Wow. Oh,
that's Murano.
Wow.
Murano, Italy. It's a little island very, very close to Venice. I get them mixed up. There's a Murano and a Burano, and one of them does glass and one of them does textiles. And I can't remember which one. I think Murano. I can't remember. One of them used to be located. The glass blower people. They used to be located in the middle of Venice, but they had to work with hot furnaces and they were afraid of fire, and so they made them relocate on the island. And so that's why that island has the glass.
I got it.
Special
Murano.
glass.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Burano or Murano? I get them mixed up.
Murano with an M. Murano is glass.
Okay, I get those two mixed up, but that's where
Murano is textile. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get the two. Well, it'd be nice if there was more than one letter to separate the two spellings. That'd be. Call one spaghetti and one lasagna. I'll remember then.
Right. Hey, this is why we got me here, because I'm like, I'll help you out, and we found it out. So this is which city? I was looking that up. Tell me, this one is the glass or textile?
Murano with the M.
Murano.
Yes.
Nice. Oh, right, HR. Yeah, isn't that a great hat? He is already celebrating for St. Patrick's Day coming up this Tuesday, everyone. I agree. HR loves your hat.
Thank you.
That's right. Oh, Hockey, I didn't even look. She already knew. I'm over here Googling things, and Hockey already knew that. And thanks for your good mornings every morning, sweet Hockey. Murano is glass. That's right.
Ah, very good. Very good. I get the two mixed up. I get them. Right? They're so similar. I get them mixed up.
Wow. This is amazing. Did you create and make this own blue? I would imagine you really do make your own colors, right? You start with your primaries and you create your own color palette.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Look at those blues.
Yeah, definitely. I try to basically just stick with ultramarine, cobalt, alizarin, yellow ochre. I don't go for the fancy name ones. I tend to just make my own color. And so, there's a certain limitation to it, but I don't go for the real fancy, teal kind of. I don't go for that. I'll figure out my own. I'll make my own colors.
Right.
So yes. And what happens is when you keep your palette simple, the colors and the structure, it tends to harmonize.
Mhm.
So if you just use, like, your simple basic colors, like in this one, you got ochres and alizarin crimson, some cad red, some ultramarine blue, some cobalt blue, some dioxazine purple. Those colors tend to play nice, and
Mhm.
so you don't have to worry about mixing something up that just fights each other. It's kind
That's
of
right.
like you know which red to mix with a blue. You don't want to mix a greenish blue with a red. You want to mix a purplish blue with a red. Real simple stuff like that, and it
Right.
makes life so much simpler.
I have to, if I had to like limit myself to my favorite colors, obviously my cadmium red and my cadmium yellow would be a must, my cobalt blue, but I really love phthalo green. And so those would be like my go-tos if I couldn't, if that's all I could have. And then of course with a white, but I make my own black. I love to make my own chromatic black as well, so, but yeah,
What did you say your green was?
my phthalo green. You don't know what that one is?
Interesting. Is it phthalo? Phthalo green?
Yeah, phthalo. Sorry,
Okay.
phthalo. Yes,
Yep.
PHTHALO. Phthalo
Oh,
green.
okay. That is not something that I use, and that's why I wanted you to repeat it, because I wasn't certain of it.
It's like a
Is it
deep emerald.
okay? Does it lean a little bit blue?
I will look it up here for you. So we can pop that up here real
Would you
quick.
would you compare it to Viridian or sap green?
Um,
Sap green
I
tends to lean a little bit yellow.
emerald. I guess it's more toward, I guess, a more of a. I don't know. I don't really see a lot of
I,
blue, and I don't see it leaning towards the yellow. But this right here is emerald, a dark, deep emerald. See?
okay,
And
now I've been accused of having crazy eyes when it comes to green, so I might not have the 100% viewpoint here, but that tends to lean a little bit blue to me.
I would think more of that. I was gonna say more to the blue because I don't see a really limey, yellowy, whatever. I mean, it
Right.
makes it beautiful limey when you add some really
Oh, I would.
amazing
Yeah, I
colors
can
to it,
imagine. That would be really nice for foliage, that kind of thing. That that would
right?
that would be perfect for that.
I agree. I agree. But that's my kind of my go-to green. Sorry guys for a little interruption. Let's get back to his. We got a few more pieces here. Just amazing. Is this another reject? Because now I'm thinking this is the show of all.
Now, this one is not a reject.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This one actually ended up in the probably the biggest collection of any of my artworks. This one ended up in a collection up in Monterey, in a fabulous art collection, and I got to deliver it to the buyer.
Oh, that's even fun. That's even
Yeah,
better.
it was. I was really honored, and he sent me a couple of snaps of couple photos of his collection. He's got some internationally famous pieces in there, big famous pieces, and so I was really honored that he bought this one.
And how big is this piece? Because this looks like it's a very large piece.
It's 36 by 48,
There we go. Yep.
and it's big enough to where you could put a lot of individual brushstrokes and get a lot of shimmer to it. The water, the lower water, really, I think, adds a lot to it. Plus the atmospheric effect,
Right.
that background area with the atmospheric effect, and this is really interesting. The photo itself. This is from a photo. The photo itself came out of a cookbook.
Wow. Don't
Yeah,
you love that? This is what I'm saying. I'm working on a cookbook. This is the kind of stuff that you want in there, right?
yeah.
Amazing.
It did. This was, I
This
can't remember
what
what
recipe?
I called it regatta, but
Okay.
this one this photo came out of a cookbook.
Not crazy.
Yeah, you
Amazing.
you never know where. Never
No,
limit your range of inspiration. You never know when or where the next spark's gonna come from, ever.
I love it. I love it. I mean, one of the things I love to go is if I'm in a thrift store or something like that, anything like that, rummage sales, whatever. I do look for those things. I love old cookbooks. I love old magazines because either I'm going to use it for inspiration. I do a lot of collage work that ends up being one of my paintings. That's a fun thing too. Or you find a picture like this and you're like, I have just got to paint this. It's just
Yes,
absolutely beautiful.
that is exactly what happened with me with this one. I said, man, I gotta paint that. And I was pleased with it. It just the whole structure of it, the energy level, the sparkle, it was there, and I just pulled it out, just translated it into my expressive paint, and that was, that's how it came out. But it was a lot of fun to paint.
My goodness. Oh my heavens. You should be so proud. And the expression on their face when you're hand delivering it, that's just also something,
Oh, it was really
right?
cool. It
There's
was really cool. He's got more than one office. He's got an office in Monterey and one in Fresno. I don't know where else. And he's a big builder, big commercial builder, and he was
right.
just as calm and nice of a person. He's just wearing a Hawaiian shirt and a pair of shorts and flip flops. And the guy's I'd hate to guess what he's worth, and he was just as calm and kind as he could
Mhm,
possibly be. Very welcoming person.
right. I know the thing when I had my for most of my years with my Italian restaurant, right? And it was in like the Beverly Hills area of the Scottsdale zone in Arizona. And after 9/11, we had doctors from Mayo Clinic, all kinds of really rich people that lived in all these mansions around. And this guy, the same kind of thing, the richest of the rich. And then he's wearing like 80s shorts, and flip flops, tank tops, or whatever. He's one of the biggest lawyers in New York that you've ever seen, and he would admire amazing artwork. And you'd like, I don't know how much this guy is worth, but every time a new artist would come in or would highlight something, he would light up like, oh, he just really appreciated the arts.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. Well,
amazing.
what you think about Renaissance times, that's what artists basically lived on. It was
Mm-hmm.
either the church or a very wealthy patron. It was one or the other, and that's so not much has changed over the centuries in that regard.
No, because a lot of our work, I mean, think about how much we even charge. I mean, I did a little sampling of prints just trying to raise money for the school, and people were willing to do like 150 just prints of their work. And I was getting backlash for a lot of people. So,
What?
sorry guys, right? I mean, we spend not only is the canvas and the paint almost that much, right? Or more, and then our time. And you think that we just, it's like, sorry if this painting costs anywhere from 1,000 to more, but it's that's why the rich people support us. Unfortunately,
Yeah. Well,
that's how it usually goes.
exactly.
Amazing. And we are going to finish on this one on purpose because I told you I love your boats.
Thank
Isn't this absolutely phenomenal? I mean, take me away right now.
you. Yeah. This one's called Crunchy Gondolas. This is another one that's a perfect example of. Now, this one was not a reject, but the gallery couldn't sell it. They had it up there for, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months, something like
Really?
that. I brought it back, and then I did like a little sideshow that was like at a radio station, like a big fancy radio station. Somebody saw it there and didn't even talk to me about it. Brought it home again. Then I get a text or a phone call. I can't remember which. Is that painting still available? So it took two places to finally get it sold, and the lady bought it. So I took it back, twice, 2 trips up there to Fresno from here. It's not that big a deal, but don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen the first or second time.
Right?
Sometimes it takes more than that. But anyway, it finally found its happy home.
Oh my heavens. I'm just at awe. I'm like, what? They had it because I would have, I guess it depends on who you are. I might
Yeah.
not be in every museum, and something like this screams to me. Number one, you guys all know the colors, right? You know that's going to speak to me. And the drastic and dramatic contrast between the beautiful sunset, right? With this beautiful water and blues. I mean, it is phenomenal, but it might not be everybody's thing, obviously, because
Exactly.
I sit there and go, you're absolutely nuts. Who doesn't want this?
Well, it's just you got to if you find the right pair of eyeballs, it'll go with them. So it's sometimes it's hard. It's not an exact science, that's for sure. I guess my main message is don't be discouraged. Always be encouraged, because you got a talent, and it's in you to create, and be happy with that, and you persevere. Don't If you got a detour, it's just a speed bump. Keep going.
Right. That's what we've been saying all night, HR. We love, to look at, I love looking at your guys' artwork because I'm always going somewhere. Whether it's your abstracts and I'm seeing my own little things in, or I'm going on a journey with Bob's, or I'm looking at beautiful animals that you could almost just reach out and pet and hug. I mean, or studies that you guys have done. I mean, I love our group because you are always transporting us through your visual works. And thank you so much for saying that, HR. I agree. Everything about this, the texture, the colors. I mean, this one just screams to me. It's why you guys, I always know that I always finish your guys. Whenever you're on the show, everyone, I will finish what I personally think is my favorite of the night. This one is it.
Well,
that's fantastic.
That is your privilege.
Man, Bob, you're amazing.
My pleasure.
Amazing. You have given us so many tips tonight, so many wonderful things tonight. I don't know what more you can say besides join Artist Corner, guys, and share this show, because don't we all want the world to see? I mean, he's saying museums are rejecting this. I think they're on drugs. So let's share his work. Let's share the show. All right. Because I think people will agree with us. I've seen you guys all agree with us. His work is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I don't know if you've got any more tips. I hate to even I hate to remove that because I could stare at that all day. But this is why it takes me over an hour to sit there and share everything and comment and everything. Because I mean, I might even just do simple, like beautifully done, phenomenal, whatever you guys. But that I am replying to over 20 people, on both sides. But I also want to take that moment to literally stare at your work and just enjoy myself. I think that's something we should do more in the corner too, is, instead of just drop and go, stop and relish in each other's work, even if it's only one other person's, and I highly suggest that. It brings, number one, more of a community, but it also beautifies your day, your life, your moment,
without question.
Right.
Without question. There's a lot of talent in our group. There's a lot of talent and diversity. There's a lot of diversity. I mean, some of the things that, just in the creative sense, as far as subject matter, some of the things that some of our artists come up with, man, I'm telling you what, that is, we've got some real depth and range. So it's a lot of fun. Hey, honestly, I turn on the computer in the morning, and I come here to see who's doing what, and see if Lady H is awake yet.
Well, sometimes I'm busy. I do have a farm here too, and okay, my son left the door open.
I think you need to be cloned.
I do. I had chickens running all over the yard because we have foxes out. So they have a big, huge yard, you guys. It's not like that. And they have a place to free range, but he left the front door open. So we're wrangling in. Luckily, because I hold them and sing to them and pet them, but then it depends. If my husband has the day off, there's something about, even though he stays up at night, there's something about him coming to bed, and he might come to bed at like 6 a.m. I know he's there, and I might sleep in till 9 because I'm like, oh, I can just sense it. I'm like, it's, I mean, I don't think I sleep really well with him working at night, but, so you guys, sometimes I'm hitting the corner by 9, sometimes it might be 10, but I'll get to it.
That, what, those of us that are there earlier, we'll get the coffee going for you.
There you go. And now you guys don't post because you're like, how's she going to mix it up? There are certain days I will never mix it up, usually Saturday and Sundays, and I will never mix up Sundays because I really want to keep that a reverence for Sunday, so you guys can go ahead and post all your wonderful Spirit of Sundays ones because I will never mess with that one, so. All right, Bob, last tips and pieces of advice, and you guys can all say your thank yous if you'd like to. Now we'll throw those up on the screen, but what would you like else to say to our wonderful viewers tonight?
Well, I appreciate every single one of them showing up and having a look at what we had to show there. I mean, I'm honored. it's an honor to be with you, Lady H, and all the great friends that we have. And basically, just don't. If you hit a road bump, a speed bump, don't let it even slow you down. Just keep going. And always remember that someone out there appreciates you and what you create. And so, and basically what you create is you. So keep that in mind.
That's really good said too, because I'm glad you said that, because we are there. That's why another thing, when we're creating something, it's a part of us. It's a part of our soul that comes out on that canvas, no matter if we're creating something, it's an animal, or it's a wonderful taking us away to Venice, or it is abstract. It's still part of you that is on that canvas, or whatever you're working on. It's not always canvas, which I love those artists that do that too. Not you guys. I think of, was it 10 times discernment, the turkey feathers. She paints on everything and anything. So I'll tell you what, you guys are awesome. Bob, you can come back. What we all love, you come back anytime you want to. I mean that, because I love it when you come here.
I very much appreciate that.
Truly an honor.
Always a pleasure.
Yes. And we're going to be highlighting you again with our collaboration show. You guys, he won't be, none of you guys are live, but this is just a reminder that for Easter, just letting you guys know, it will be the 4th of April will be our Easter collaboration show. So any artists that are out there, remember to submit, to get me some pieces. You can submit 3 for our wonderful Easter celebration for our Artist Corner. All right. All right, Bob. See you in the corner, my friend. And you, again, we look forward to seeing you again. And everybody, please go give him a follow. You guys can follow him at Bob. I'm going to say it's Goetting, but it's Getting right on Truth. And then it's Bob Will. And I'll put that, everything is in the description, but you guys can find him if you just join here, because one of the greatest people that post every single day is our wonderful Bob. So if you guys, and it's streaming right here on the bottom, you guys can go to that Artist Corner and join that, and you guys can help share the amazing work that we do, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you, Lady H.
Welcome. Have a great night, my friend.
You have a good evening.
Good night. Isn't that awesome? Absolutely awesome. Oh my gosh, everyone. So exciting to have these artists on. If you want to be on the show, you guys, please reach out. I have, let's see, end of April, I only have 3 openings in April that I'm going to be booking for March. So if you want to get on the books, please get on the books right away. A huge thank you as well to JJ for gifting the cookie over there. Oh, when he sees these later, there we go. Thank you, JJ, so much for gifting the cookie. And thank you, Hockey, so much, my sweet friend, for donating to and rumble ranting to the show. That means the world to me to help support the shows here. I appreciate that. You guys with your wonderful loves. I think that's awesome. Yes, HR, true art is simply a self-portrait of the artist's soul. I think that is great. Yes, very great. I love it. You guys are so wonderful for joining me here today. I wish I could put those radiating hearts on the thing. You know what? I guess I probably can. Give me 1 second. If I do a pop out chat, that's the only way. I can't put those. They just come out in like code. So here we go. Now we can see them, and we can just move these, right? You guys can see all these radiating hearts that I'm pointing to right here. I can't put those on the show because it just comes out in like a code. So thank you there. There we go. So yes, a huge thank you to you guys for that. I also wanted to show you something, a new channel I ran into in Rumble. And hold on, let me get here too. I didn't even know this existed, but you guys know I love some humor, and maybe we'll play sometime when we're not on necessarily YouTube. Right? I love this. Did you guys even know this existed? Don't you guys love was it like the Dry Bar? Yeah, Dry Bar Humor and Comedy Club. Most of these shows here, you guys might want to go check this out if you want to listen to some really great humor. It's called the Clean Comedy Club. Most of these stand-ups are from the Dry Bar Comedy Club. I just think it's awesome. I just didn't even know this existed. It's something brand new. It's not necessarily a show you could rate. It's live, and they just replay certain stand-ups and whatever. But I just thought it was really cool, giving you guys information. I'm like, wow, what is that? Go Rumble, bring a comedy. You put that channel on all the time. It is good to know. All right. So you guys, tomorrow is our wonderful The Reset Kitchen. And I have taught you guys how to make carnivore bread, right? So I want to figure out if you could just shape those any way. So I was like, how can we make a hoagie? Because I love making things like that, right? So, but I'm not doing any bread. My husband and I are strictly, absolutely like carnivore diet right now, which is not even, the bread. My son lucked out on that. Even the carnivore bread I gave to the son. But I was able to shape it. And you guys saw this last week. 3 ingredients, absolutely amazing. And it turned out phenomenal. I was able to make hoagies with that. So tomorrow we are making meatball subs. And so, yes, no bread, no grains, no nothing going on with these amazing. And we took those meatballs and we turned them into a meatball sub with my homemade marinara. And I hope you guys get to enjoy that with me tomorrow. So I'll be sharing out that show here after we are done. Feeding your body and then your soul. And then wonderful, wonderful worldview on Monday. So if you guys want to know what's coming out, you guys can, and please give me a follow. I appreciate that so much. You guys can follow me on X at Lady Hamilton AR1. You guys can also follow me on X, Truth, Pills, Gab, at Lady Hamilton Art. I also have us streaming on YouTube for our artist shows at Lady Hamilton HH. And then you're already thanking this wonderful team. So thank you so much to our wonderful mods. They worked really hard tonight because I saw them on all 4 channels. You guys did a great job from YouTube to Pilled to Rumble and X. I saw you guys there interacting with everybody who's watching the show tonight. So a huge thank you to all of our mods tonight. You guys are awesome. Let's give them a follow as well, starting with JJ. And you guys can follow him on Truth X Gabbed Pilled Getter. And he's got an amazing Rumble channel. Our fantastic Tri-Stater, you guys can follow him on Truth and on X. We've got our beautiful Nancy. You guys can follow her on Truth and on X. Our amazing Frosty Pimp, please give him a follow on Truth and on X. And our wonderful Kim, you guys can follow her on Truth. We're going to be leaving here with a very happy tune from one of our Artist Corner family members. I cannot wait. Oh, I didn't change the words. Okay. I have Settle on there, which, that might be, let's do that one. I like this song too, because one of the themes that Bob talked about is, we don't have to settle. We don't have to take people's rejection. We looked at a whole world of rejection today, didn't we? And we don't have to accept that. We don't have to settle for that. We can just remember that we create because we want to create. And if it makes you happy, be happy. And you don't have to settle for people rejecting your work. There will be somebody out there for you. You just need to find your zone and find your people. So we are going to finish off tonight with this great song from My Troubled Days. And thank you so much for letting us play your music. I will see everybody tomorrow for the Reset Kitchen, right? All right, everybody, make sure you bring a snack and a notebook, because you're going to want to know how easy this is. And again, for all of those that are trying to stay away from the grains, or you're wanting to do something more carnivore and you want to learn one of the easiest breads in the world, I cannot tell you how great this turns out. We're making carnivore hoagies, meatballs, and turning them into meatball subs. So I'll see everybody tomorrow for the Reset Kitchen. And on our way out, like I said, we're going to be listening to My Troubled Days, this song called Settle. Everyone have a great night. Be blessed. And remember to be the light. I'll see you all tomorrow. Oops, wrong one. That's for tomorrow. It's the wrong button. That's for tomorrow. Here we go. My Troubled Days, everyone. Good night.
There's anyone to blame. And don't settle for anything else than what you love. You see, it's supposed to be hard, this living our dreams. I didn't know had no start. Hope you know more than I did, through and through, and only tried to rely on you. And don't settle for anything less than what you want. And don't settle for anything less than what you're worth. Just for you to be all you, to be all that you dream and wish for. Boy, don't you settle. Ooh.